there's the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go at Long Beach. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams.
Yeah, can really hold him off. He looked like he's started to gap Cantonio just ever so slightly. Got about half of a second. It's been hovering right around there. Oh, Cantonio really pushing. He's sideways out of turn number 1. But Rayleigh just keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Nice and smooth, able to keep it going. It's going to be tough. Cantonio knows that there's not very many chances, even if he can get close enough to him to make a move. So we'll see as they come through 6 and 7, head toward turn 8 onto the backstretch.
Deeper in the field, nothing changing. Lap traffic ahead. It's Kevin Peak and Bradley Alvis right in front of our race leaders down East Seaside Way. And to turn number 9 for the final time. Lap traffic in the way, and Rayleigh goes for it on Peak. He sends it into turn 9. He knows he can't wait. He knows he can't give an opportunity to Kevin Cantonio. Cantonio's going to take it anyway. Ships it into the hairpin, and Rayleigh's going to get away. Thomas Rayleigh is going to be a race winner in the North American Racing League. A last lap bump and run wasn't enough. This man wins at Long Beach.
Wow, what a finish coming through that hairpin. I thought they were all going to wad it up. We had lap traffic in there, staying in there.
Zelazny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around for the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 should have a big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, Coffee in it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Richmond Raceway's roots are in fairground racing throughout the earlier 1900s, but it was an era much closer to, around, and after the turn of the 21st century that lent it the nickname the Action Track. It's one of my favorite track nicknames of all time, and the cars being raced here tonight helped earn the track that name, the 2003 NASCAR Cup cars. Will we have one of those classic Richmond races again tonight as we cut the field down to 10 of the 10 drivers for the 2005 NORA Chase? That's what the big question is here this evening. The Chase all but decided, but we're all looking to Richmond to see what it has to offer here this evening. Welcome to Pitstop TV in the virtual Richmond, Virginia. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Zach Meredith alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the NORA River City 240. Today's coverage is brought to you by Harpoon Designs, by NORA, and by Whiplash Creative. And Zach, we'll be looking at this racetrack under lights as the night goes on. Practice is in the day, so I suppose we can go ahead and flip out of the B-roll here and get into the iRacing.com sim proper. Here it is, and the track temp is already a talking point.
That it is, and these guys are certainly struggling out there right now. I've been kind of glazing over practice, seeing how these guys are faring. It's not super bad right now, I will say, given the track temperature, but it is Richmond, and this track is complicated. It is a very weird and different entry from turn 1 to turn 3. You have to be a little bit more straight on the entry into 3. You have to be arcing your corner going down into turn 1, which is a difficult thing to do because usually you don't really want to be turning under braking, but that's kind of the name of the game, going down into turn 1. So Richmond provides a very different kind of complex when it comes to short track racing, but we enjoy it nonetheless, and for some reason it works. I mean, it really works at this track.
It's a bunch of fun. Richmond is a very challenging track on iRacing, a very challenging track to drive, and certainly challenging to learn, challenging to get right. But when you get it right, when you get it to work for you, it is so rewarding if you can just get around here fast with any kind of speed. I mean, it is going to pay dividends across your iRacing career and certainly your real racing career if that applies. Let's take a look at the point standings coming into this evening, because this is going to be pretty uneventful, frankly, in terms of the points. Kyle Tubb not here. That would have been the battle we would have watched. Unfortunately, Kyle Tubb has to work tonight, and Jake Christenberry with the car count is effectively eliminated, which then means that Ronnie Norman is effectively good and in the chase. We'll still keep an eye on things. I don't anticipate these top 10 changing at all. I don't think there really is any way that it can. But to play benefit of the doubt here, Zach, we'll keep an eye on it.
That we will. I think I'm gonna say it. I don't think I'm talking correctly, but I think there's still a chance for Christenberry should things fall in his favor. But you never know. You never know what might end up happening.
I suppose there's always a chance. Or so they say.
Man,
so
I'm just trying to be optimistic.
We'll see how the night goes. I guess what we can do is we get ready to talk to a couple of drivers. We can take a look at these cars that I'm talking so much about and see what exactly they are. So these are the 2003 NASCAR Cup cars, the Gen 4 from specifically 2003. 900 horsepower, a lot of power to these cars. These are the slightly taller noses, if you recall, if you're familiar with NASCAR stock cars, especially in the Cup Series, from about 2000 to about 2007, the final era of the Gen 4 cars. Slightly taller noses. They aren't quite as sealed off to the racetrack. They allow a little more air underneath. Tonight, really what's going to matter is still the massive 22-gallon fuel cell. Granted, we're only running 77% fuel load, but also that 900 horsepower. We saw a lot of wheel spin here in the spring. We'll see a lot more wheel spin here tonight. Will that change going to the car next year that we might be going to? I don't know. But for now, that's what we have. It is the pretty classic NASCAR stock car configuration. Nothing too flashy about it. Technology from the 50s, and it works. So it's a lot of fun. These guys have had a lot of fun, I think, over the course of this season. I will say one drawback, Zach, is it does make it difficult to pass. That is going to be something these drivers battle all night long. Getting on with things, though. First driver we can talk to. How about Caden Henry Oaks? 15 starts in now in this NORA Retro Cup Series. And Caden, as you enter start number 16 here this evening in that number 5, we've talked kind of endlessly about, hey, you know, Kyle Busch won this race, for example. That was last week at California. Is there any kind of pressure on you when those dates come around? You're driving the number 5. You worked for Kyle Busch briefly. I mean, the obvious goes without stating. Is there any pressure in that number 5 car to succeed?
I don't necessarily say that there's pressure any given week compared to the other. You know, you drive a premier car at this level of racing against the competition we have, and you're under pressure every week to perform, basically. Given with my history of work being in the industry around these cars, I'm expected to know how to drive them. So I feel like the pressure's always there, but you just kind of take it on the shoulder and go with what you got.
And talking about going with what you got, you have got a 2003 NASCAR Cup car at Richmond, and we've already talked about race conditions and how things are shaping up for you guys. What's the prep work here? Where are you feeling the most comfortable, and where do you feel like your race is going to most benefit? Either on the top, on the bottom, or do you think you're just going to have to roll off things like pit strategy rather than speed?
I think a lot of it tonight is going to be having clean air on the nose of the car. For all of the laps I've done, be it top, bottom, the track has a lot of grip, but it's very easy to lose the nose tonight, just from what I've seen in practice being around other cars and being in front of other cars.
And of course, Caden, you were not here in this race in the spring. You hadn't quite gotten into the league yet. I think it was right after this, or if you were in a different car. You weren't in that number 5. What has changed for you in your approach to these races from the time that you began racing here? I don't... Now I'm second guessing myself. Maybe you did run Richmond. I don't know. But regardless, what has changed in that time? Because, I mean, that's been a span of nearly, 5 months, 6 months?
Just being comfortable in the car, getting track time, because I don't race a lot anymore compared to what we used to do. You know that. Just getting track time and learning the car, being comfortable with how I position myself and how to actually put the car in places that I want to put it in, make it do what I want it to do.
Fair enough. Caden, good to talk to you. Best of luck here tonight. I keep, watching and waiting to see if we can at least get you top 5, top 3, let alone a win. Best of luck here this evening.
Thank you.
Caden Henry Oaks in the number 5 out of Front Royal, Virginia. Good to talk to him. A longtime friend of mine, and I'm waiting on that first win, Zach. One of these days it's going to happen. But driver number 2 on our list this evening, he is also still looking for his very first win here in NORA. And John, it comes after a whole lot more starts than just Caden's 15 to his name so far. You come into tonight, 23 starts this season. That doesn't account for anything in the past. You're still winless, but you're one of the cleaner drivers in the league. That's what I've noticed, and that is going to go a long way here this evening. And you're one of the better short trackers here in this series. What kind of pressure are you putting on yourself this evening? Can you get up there in the top 5 and mess around with these guys?
Well, that's going to be the goal. I mean, we haven't had the greatest pace all year, but Bristol a couple weeks ago was encouraging. Richmond, I've always had a good feeling about. Not quite as much as Bristol, but hoping to keep it clean, mix it up in the top 10 at least with these guys. Hopefully for a better result than we had here in the spring.
And Zach?
And coming out of this race, I think the biggest takeaway is that we're going to be starting the chase after tonight. And as we roll into the chase, looking at the points really quick, you are sitting 13th. You're pretty much statistically eliminated. What's the mindset now as we roll through the rest of the season? Where do you feel like you can put yourself to either improve on a few positions or maybe just go for some wins?
So that's going to be the mindset. I mean, obviously the championship chase out of the picture by now, but it's just going to be, learning each week, having fun with it, maybe get a couple good results here and there. Rockingham coming up, really enjoy that place. Ran well in New Hampshire last year as well, so. And Talladega always a wild card, so just hoping each week one by one, hopefully to get a couple good results, finish out the season on a high note.
And John, we're about to have you join us actually for a bit of the pre-race show moving forward. And I guess this is as good a time as any to go ahead and ask you who you have for tonight's win. And this kind of goes beyond just the race and kind of bragging rights, because you've been dominating fantasy this year. I'm curious, who do you think wins this race? Not just from a, fantasy perspective, but also being in the sim now, seeing practice times. Who do you think actually walks away with this thing?
Well, to be honest, my fantasy pick, Vincent Arthur, he was my go-to. He had strong pace here in the past, so that's why I went to pick him. But, look at the top of these leaderboards. I'm 16 at Durham, 81 at Baumler. Obviously, he was on the pole here, I believe, in the spring. So Baumler might be one to look out for. But one other name that stood out to me was the 29 of Blake Timmons. He was fast at qualifying, was fast again right now. So I think he might be an underdog to look out for tonight.
Is that your pick? Can I lock it in?
Yes, I would lock that at the 29.
Okay, I like that. We'll keep talking with John here in a second, but Zach, I guess that's as good a time as any for us to make our couple of picks. Who do you have for this one?
I think it's a hard one to call right now, just because we don't know how this race is going to shape up, but
That's the point of it.
I think if I had to take a solid pick, I'd go for Chase Durham. He is the fastest in practice right now, and I think he's got a really good chance of walking away with this one.
That is a fantastic pick. I am going to lean back on stats at Richmond, and I'm surprised this guy is as low as he is on the speed charts currently. He's actually, let me bring the ticker back up, he is 18th right now. I am shocked he's this low, but I've locked it in for fantasy. I actually changed my pick from Josh Conover to win this race to this guy. He has won 2 of the previous 3 races here. That means he swept the 2 races here last year, since Dustin Kleba won here in the spring. Brian Jones, he's got 2 of the 3 races at this racetrack won in this league. He's looking better lately. He won recently at Michigan. No, it was in the spring at Michigan, somewhere else. Regardless, Brian Jones, that's my pick. I think he's got something. He's been kind of on the right side of strategy sometimes, on the wrong side of strategy other times. We'll see how tonight goes, but I got a feeling about that 45 car. That said, practice has not given me much to go off of. But with that behind us, John, we get to introduce you to my favorite part of the broadcast. That is Gas and Go. And admittedly, this is a slow news week across the league. This was a bit of a slower week in general, but I have some news for everybody. And so as we get into Gas and Go here this evening, Zach, first up on the board, we actually have a new team, kind of, within the league. Some new drivers, actually, in the Chip Ganassi racing cars. You might notice on the ticker as well, you already saw a handful of them. 3 new drivers, Corey Powell, well, technically he's been here, Dakota Sidris, Nathan Adamson, I believe is his name, Anderson, rather, and that's another Anderson. Golly. And then also Elijah Mopin. I don't see him tonight, but Elijah is registered for the series. So effectively 4 new drivers, considering Corey is only a couple of starts in. I guess we'll go to John first here. Does that change anything for you as a driver, having that new blood out here?
I mean, it's always something new to factor in, like when you have a different driver in the field, or in this case, a few new drivers. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's still the same race. It's still the same mindset. Pass the guy in front of you, finish as high as possible, keep it clean. So, yes, it's a new variable to consider, but I don't think it changes the overall mindset very much.
I think, looking at it from a driver's perspective and a broadcaster's perspective, having some new blood out here provides us with some more storylines. But, as a driver's perspective, it just adds to the amount of cars that you want to end up seeing behind you at the end of the night. You can't really worry about somebody else's race. You have to worry about your own, and with more drivers out there, and you just need to factor in how that can apply to your race.
Second up on the board as we get introduced to those couple of new drivers on that team, Dalton Tucker effectively is going to be your number 1 seed in the chase, but he still has to get through tonight. He does retake the points lead, as we saw in the points graphic a little bit ago, but he's got to finish 4th or better. I don't recall off the top of my head exactly where he's starting. I suppose I can scroll through and try and find it really quick, but John, back to you first. Do we think 4th place is a lock for Dalton tonight?
I think it's hard to say anything is a lock in this business. He's definitely the most consistent driver in the field, as we've seen this year. I mean, no matter where he starts, we've seen that. I believe it was Michigan starting at the back. He can find his way to the front. So I think we're going to see the 37 in the top four before the night's over.
I think when it comes to Tucker, there's really no way that you can bet against him right now. John is not necessarily here for other broadcasts, so I don't know if he can get the reference, but to me, Dalton Tucker is the Alex McCullum of NORA.
Fair. Yeah, he's the guy you just kind of can't bet against. Topic number 3 of the evening, we may have some announcements coming up at New Hampshire next week, and I guess it's as good a time as any to mention we are running Legends races, or a Legends race before the NORA race next week. Tune in for that. It'll just be a little bit earlier, just going to be like a 12-lap fun run kind of thing, but we invite all of you NORA drivers to take part. It'll be Legends on the road course at New Hampshire. That said, it sounds like there's more going on at New Hampshire. The chase also starts next week at New Hampshire, so a lot riding on New Hampshire in general, but it sounds like some nondescript rumors of an unconfirmed team's 2006 announcement next week, and this could change, but I have reason to believe this is still the case. I guess I'll actually parry over to Zach first. Any thoughts there? We've been talking about, silly season for weeks at this point, months.
I am keeping a close eye. That's all I can say. I don't really know how things are going to shape out. All I can say is that I am watching things. I'm going to be eager to see how it shapes out, but maybe John can enlighten us a little bit since he is effectively racing with these guys week to week. I'm sure someone said something to him.
To be honest, I haven't really heard much recently as far as silly season. I know summer is peak silly season time, and I'm here for it. I love the rumors. I love the anticipation, but for me, it's pretty simple. I plan to be back in the 38 next year, so not too much on my end. I hate to break it to you, but no, I don't really have too much on the juicy silly season info.
Not too much as far as headline generator, I suppose, in that 38 car. That's okay. Last couple of topics here this evening. We actually have a couple of milestones in hand this evening. Jacob Gladulich, driver of the 20, and Brian Jones, driver of the 45, each hitting start number 60 this evening. And I guess this is more appropriate for you to start off, John. Does that mean anything to you guys when you hit that kind of milestone start? We've talked about start 10 for Caden before, start 50 for some guys. This is start 60 for these two.
It's absolutely notable. I mean, it's just a testament to consistency. And, it's an achievement. It's definitely something to factor in. But if it was me, I would treat it just like any other race. You got to go out there. You got a job to do. But it's definitely something to take note of and be proud of for sure.
I think these guys are doing a fantastic job as well in this league. Brian Jones has won a race or two so far this season. Gladulich has been in positions where he could potentially win the races. And realistically speaking, I'm going to pull from another league here. It kind of reminds me of Carl Pooler and Evan Patinko in the BRB Sundance Pro Series. They have the most starts out of anybody there. They have a lot of starts. Gladulich similar to them with no wins just yet, but hey, it's bound to come sometime soon.
His engine now smoking, in the pit lane. But these two actually lead the series and starts at 59. Coming into this evening tonight is 60 for each of them. The following week at New Hampshire will be 60 for Josh Conover and another driver or two. Here we go. The final topic on our list this evening for Gas and Go. Ronnie Norman, as we mentioned to the points, effectively has clinched the chase, which is obviously big for the driver of the 7. How differently, I guess what we'll be careful how we phrase this question for you, John, how differently has this battle to the chase cut line gone from what you would have expected, say, back in April?
I mean, it's hard to predict anything back in April. I definitely thought it was going to be a lot tighter when things shook out. I mean, us missing 2 races in the spring didn't help. I feel like we could have been right up there with them, but all props to the 9 guys and Ronnie who have basically locked themselves in. They've had a hell of a drive so far this season, so all credit to them, but I'm surprised we have as little of as big of a gap as we do at this point, because the racing has been competitive all season.
It's nice to see that Ronnie is effectively clinched as well. I mean, I still hold out hope that Jake is going to try to find a way to point himself in, but mathematically speaking, I know it's almost impossible, but
Well, once we take the green, it is.
anything is always possible.
That one I'm gonna hard disagree with you. Mathematically, once we take the green with the car count we have tonight, that is it for him. But John, I know we're about to go racing. I want to hit a specific point with you. I mentioned fantasy and how good you've been. You enter tonight as our points leader as we get ready for the chase reset. Obviously, you know the chase is pretty well decided. It's going to come down to bonus points, you know, the fastest lap pick and the win picks, all of that, and seeding. So how important, I guess, is this for you if you want a free diecast from me to have a good night here tonight with your picks?
Yeah, I mean, definitely important trying to battle with that for that first overall seed with Kevin. I mean, I'm a diecast guy myself. I got a decent collection, so definitely intriguing. But, you know, everything changes once the chase starts, so hoping to maybe steal another seed or two here and then have a good finish to the season the next 10 weeks.
Fair enough. John, good to talk to you. Best of luck here tonight. It's going to be a difficult one for sure as the time clock resets in the sim and we're suddenly under the lights.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
There's John Skavnicki. We'll get him back down to his teammate Nick Hom. That is if Nick is racing. I think he is, right? I don't see him in Discord, but John, best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
I don't see him in Discord, that Nick Hom guy. But we've got John back down to his team channel at the very least. I saw Nick Hom out in the racetrack, but regardless, these are your fantasy standings. May as well talk about this and power rankings, Zach, as nothing is really, you know, too serious right here on the fantasy side. As we get down a few more weeks, we'll you know, start to carry a little more weight with that. Really, the power rankings is where I want to go next, with Dalton Tucker on top. Last week, a great finish. Second place pushed him just over that 90 threshold. Josh Conover now into second. Brian Jones up into that third spot. Malone slides as he missed last week. He's missing tonight's race as well. Vincent Arthur poised to take over that fourth position, but Hunter Sr. is right there. Ryan Housden, a lot of these guys very close together that have been running well. I'd say really Arthur through Baumler have all run well. They've just had random weeks where things have gone wrong or they've missed a race, and that's what's holding them back right now from being one of those more elite drivers at the moment, up there with guys like Josh Conover, Brian Jones.
I will say, real quick, before these guys take the green, Andrew, Jacob Malone's not here.
I just said
so
that.
If anyone's picked, well, yeah, but I'm changing my fantasy picks right now, real quick.
Yes, that's important. That was mentioned earlier, actually. Jake Christenberry got word, apparently, which makes sense. He's a teammate. But Jake Christenberry let us know this afternoon that, yeah, Malone would not be here tonight. So shaking things up in fantasy for sure. But let's go ahead and get through our starting grid this evening. You see them all lining up on the end of the pit lane. On pole position, how about Brian Jones? I talked about him. He's got 2 of 3 possible wins here. I'm picking him for the win this evening, even over in fantasy. He's got Kevin Baumler over his right shoulder. Kevin started this race from pole back in the spring. Back in row 2, it's Ronnie Norman, Dalton Tucker. A couple of the more like Ironhead style drivers. It'll be fun to watch them from row 2, followed by Ryan Housden and Vincent Arthur. Back in row 4, it's Blade Timmons and Chase Durham, a couple of guys who've been rocking the boat lately, followed by the completion of the top 10, Jake Christenberry and Cody Anderson.
Rolling outside the top 10 here at Richmond tonight. In the 11th and 12th spot, you'll find Jacob Gladulich and Caden Henry Oaks. And then 13th and 14th on the grid, you'll find John Skavnicki, who we just had a pleasure of talking to, and Josh Conover to his outside in row number 7. Row number 8 is going to be Matthew George and Alex Edelman, with behind them being in the 17th and 18th position to make up row 9, Nick Geilis and Hunter Sr. Senior is one of those drivers who needs a good run tonight. Nick Hom starts to the inside of row number 10 in the 19th spot with Corey Powell to his outside in the 42, starting 20th.
The final 5 cars on the grid, Kyle Rochelle and Wayne Sparks side by side there in row number 11. Rochelle coming off of a 1-week vacation enforced by the admins. Back in 23rd spot, Dakota Sidrus, brand new driver to the series, along with Nathan Anderson and Zachary King. These 3 all at the back end of the grid. A quick look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details. 74 degrees ambient, 78 on track as we get the 1 to go signal from the flag stand. Clear skies. It is sunset here in virtual Richmond. In fact, the actual time in sim, here it is, just about 8 o'clock on August the 23rd. And finally, Zach, I do want to take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's details. Here we go. Instead of the race weather, I think I fumbled over those words. There's the race details. 240 laps, 180 miles, just shy of 300 kilometers. This place is a lot of fun. It's going to use these tires. We might see some of the highest tire set counts here tonight in this race, depending on how the cautions fall. We may also see some of the lowest. It all depends on when we get those yellow flags, if we get them at all. This race could potentially go wire to wire. Green flag on the way. The final race of the regular season for NORA in 2005/26. Here we go. We're green. Brian Jones leads us to turn 1. Kevin Baumler, a big push off of turn 2. Look to the inside of Jones. Stays back. They will single file away from the rest of the field. Lap 1 complete.
One of the most awesome things about these cars that I love to see is when that nose absolutely plants down into the corner under braking. And we're going to see it right here from 2 side by side into turn number 3, down into the corner. Baumler trying to take the spot away from Brian Jones. That top line is very, very powerful, and Jones is going to try to use it to his advantage. But Baumler takes it away on the inside line, leads the lap, gets the fastest lap of the race on lap 2, and trying as he may, he will clear Brian Jones up off of turn 2, but he's going to hold that bottom line and get rolling into 3, out and away with the race lead onto the next lap.
Off of turn 4, 3 laps complete here at Richmond. Single file all the way back to 8th position. Chase Durheim in a fight here with Caden Henry Oaks. Ryan Housen, Cody Anderson in that fight as well. This is where the battles start to pick up. Everything ahead of this currently single file. You see Gladgelich down low in that 20 car. He's working on John Skavnicki. Josh Conover right behind these two.
Conover looking around, seeing where he can find an entry point to get around these two. He knows he's got the quicker car right now, and he just wants to make it work. To the outside of Skavnicki, he's going to try and see what he can get. Nothing in the center of the corner. He'll have a run on exit to get to the bumper, but I don't see where he'll go from there. To the outside once again on Skavnicki, trying to make that work. He's going to have another run side by side down into turn number 1. Gladgelich looking to the inside on Housden, but he's not there just yet, with Guileless up on the top side of Hunter Sr., seeing if he can take that spot away as Conover clears Skavnicki up to the 13th spot.
And I gotta say that 97 of Zachary King is impressing so far. He has gone from the very back of the grid, 25th spot, already up to 17th. It was an abysmal debut last week at California. So far tonight, a much better look for the driver of the 97, who has just made his way into this series. At the front, though, as I think he just crushed the wall off of turn 2. Here we go. Battle for the race lead coming back at you. Brian Jones has sucked right back up to the 81, but where could he go?
Nowhere. That's the key problem right now. He's going to try to cross him over on corner exit. Jones is going to get right to the quarter panel, but he's going to back off before he can even get to the inside of the 81. These guys are giving each other some room early, which is what you want to see on lap 8 of a 240-lap race as they get really loose off turn number 4, almost get into each other. Jones again stays out of them, but now he's got a clear path to the inside line, side by side up off of 2.
Down into turn number 3, Jones on the inside, Baumler outside. These early battles are going to bring everybody back to them. That's the problem here with battling like this early, but the track position is going to matter a whole lot down the road. If Jones can just get clear, this could be huge for the early race momentum. It's just not happening yet. These two still in lockstep formation. Baumler up top, Jones down low. He'll try again down here in turns 3 and 4. Onto the apron goes
Ooh.
Jones. That was a bit too low. That's going to hurt him big time off the corner.
Yeah, he's snapping sideways off of 4 like he did the last lap, but he didn't touch the apron the lap beforehand. So that could be a different kind of loose. He's going to try to jump to the inside once again on Baumler. He knows he has that speed. It just seems like he can't make it work on the bottom right now, as Conover's making that top side work more than anybody else is. He told us earlier on in the day, Andrew, before we even got into the show, that Richmond's one of his worst tracks. He was not looking forward to it. He was going to try to do his best, but he didn't know what to expect. Well, I can tell you, his expectations might have been set a little bit too low. He is working his way closer and closer towards the top 10. He's closing in on Houston. He just needs to stay in front of Gladjulich and keep that momentum rolling. That middle line really working for the 48 as the fight for the lead is heating up again. Brian Jones back to the inside.
And look who's just behind. Dalton Tucker reeling these two in slowly but surely as they run side by side. That compromises both of their corners on each end of the racetrack. That means that 37 can slowly stalk them both and make up time. But here eventually, he's going to get stuck, as I get stuck on the word. He's going to be stuck behind them, just like they're stuck side by side, unless one can get clear. Jones might have it. Yes, he's clear of Baumler finally, just as Tucker catches them both.
Tucker is going to try to make quick work of Baumler and see if he can get back in front. I say get back in front because that's where he's used to being right now. But that 37 car has been on a tear. 8 wins on the season so far. And he's trying to make it number 9. We talked about it, Andrew. He is looking to go for 10 and point his way forward. He needs a 4th place finish to clinch the number 1 seed as the caution is out on the back straightaway.
Yellow flag, Corey Powell, the slowest car I see on the racetrack, and yeah, I dare say he's in it. A lot of damage on the number 42.
And rear end damage.
Let's see what happened here between the 42, and it looks like the number 2 of Alex Edelman. So you see Powell already struggling way at the racetrack off of turn 4. This is back down to turns 1 and 2. Running that high line, here comes Edelman off of turn 2 as Powell gets the wall. Edelman right in the back of him, jacks him up and, well, crashes him.
As much as I want to place that on either driver, I feel like, I don't know.
I don't know that Edelman really ever hit the brakes is the problem.
Well, Race Control has called that one on Mr. Corey Powell, and he will get the EOL as they go back to take the green flag.
Watch the nose of the 2. I don't know that ever... I mean, it dips, I think, from just lifting. That's tricky. I think, yes, there's something to be said for the fact that Powell got the wall, but I don't know that Edelman ever even hit the brakes for him. But here we go, pit stops. You see the leaders that have stayed out. Those are Durheim, Anderson, and Moore. Here's everybody else. You see the whole top 4 from the starting grid is in... And off the pit lane first is Christenberry, followed by Henry Oakes. Watch for Brian Jones. He barely gets out ahead of the 37. The 81 and 24 might have made contact off of pit lane.
This is going to be a bit of a shakeup right here.
Yeah, the 2 tire calls for the 11 and 5. That'll be interesting. That's going to be stuck up behind 11 cars that stay out under this yellow.
I like the call, though.
I don't know. I think here... You've got 10 change sets. We are just about a tenth of the way into the race. I think you may as well get the set, personally.
If you want to call it and map it right tire-wise, you would need to go to lap 24.
Practically will be with this caution.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you're basically on target. And that's just figuring 10 runs. Technically, you've got enough tires here tonight for 11 runs. And actually, if you take 240 and divide it by 21, Zach, that gives you 21 point, or sorry, divided by 11, that gives you 21.8 laps per run. We're going to restart at the beginning here of lap 21. You would still be on target if he wanted to use every single set of tires, which obviously is not their goal. But I'm just saying, I think this is a spot where you may as well grab a set. You can kind of index how the tires have worn to this point and kind of see what you need to adjust for this next run. But here you go, the entire field lining up on the top side, single file. That's the other reason. Yeah, sure, you've got track position by staying out. I don't know. We'll see. Restart on the way. 20 laps complete, 220 to go. The top 11 on old tires. Green flag. Conover already to the outside of Housden. That is for third spot. One in the wall. It's Baumler! Baumler and Gladulich in it. And Baumler's done.
Oh, no.
Let's find the 81 here. Here is the replay. He's got Blade Timmons just behind. Bit of a slow reset, it looks like, for the 81 for whatever reason. Down here in turn 1. Baumler doing his thing and just gets loose, overcorrected.
Oh, no, that's just... You hate to see it.
That might be the worst, when you have nobody to blame but yourself.
I mean, that's a pretty hefty overcorrection right there. Down into the corner, you can see the car starting to snap around, and he corrects as soon as he feels that car stepping out. And I mean as soon as he feels that car stepping out, before it even had the chance to step out.
I get it, though. You might wonder, why couldn't he drive out of the slide? Frankly, Zach, off throttle, you can't drive through a slide in these cars. You can drive a little bit of a slide on the gas. When you're off the gas, getting in the gas is certainly not going to help you. That'll spin you the rest of the way around. You're kind of... I hate to put it this way, you're kind of screwed. If you get free on entry, you know, whether it's braking or off throttle, whatever, you are going to have a bad time. You see Gladulich just get a piece of it as he locked the car down to try and miss it. He ends up getting in it. Let's see his point of view. But yeah, I mean, when you get free like that in this car off the gas, and you see it there for Gladulich, that's why he was along for the ride himself. Yeah, that's a rough time. So Gladulich will get the car back rolling, as it is still Durheim out ahead. I want to mention really quick, Christenberry, the only driver on tires that was able to make any passes in those couple of corners. He got one spot by passing Siders. What you got?
I was going to say, if you're looking for a more family-friendly way to say it, I don't know if you've watched Big Bang Theory, but Leonard asks Sheldon at one point in the show, what would you be if you were attached to another object by an inclined plane wrapped helically around an axis?
I don't know.
Screwed.
Okay. It's fair. That's fair. I have watched, not enough to recognize the reference, apparently, but fair. Fair. We've got 25 laps in this time. We should be restarting this time. And thankfully, these guys out ahead are not screwed. It's really just Baumler and Powell out of the race at the moment. Edelman is a lap down. There he is. Back of the field. I feel like he should be up underneath our race leader, but he is staying at the back. Green flag on the way. 25 complete. 215 to go here at Richmond. Green flag back in the air from the fan cam. Josh Conover using these restarts on old tires to work up to second place. Big moves out of the 48 car.
Trying to find his way to the front on the old tires, seeing if he can maybe take a chance at it. As behind, they might go 3 wide. Guylis looking in the middle, but he's not going to get there close enough to make it happen. As you see Corey Powell coming back onto the racetrack, letting those drivers go.
This is Zach King getting ahead of Ryan Housden, Kyle Rochelle, Nick Guylis. This is about 5th through 10th-ish as Anderson and Hom do battle further back. One car slow. That is Cydrus, the 40 car, slow into turn 1. He lets a bunch of cars go by. Christenberry and Anderson do battle down here to turn number 3. This is the first opportunity for a lot of these regulars to meet these new drivers in those Ganassi cars. This is going to be hectic. On the inside again, Corey Powell way down low, out of the way of these leaders, letting them go by. You see Vincent Arthur back here in 15th spot, trying to work around Nick Hom and Dalton Tucker. He'll get the better of Hom here off of turn 4. Tucker now moves up ahead as it's Jones battling with the 41 of Anderson and the 5 of Henry Oakes. Let's see, Henry Oakes took 2, as did Christenberry, but Anderson still on old tires.
Jones with a big switch down to the bottom, right to the back bumper of Henry Oakes. It's a log jam. This is what happens as the caution is out.
Spinner, it is Zach King, the 97 car.
Saw Ronnie Norman jumping down the timing screen as well, but I don't think he was involved.
King gets the car turned around and he will rejoin the pacing field. Let's see what happened to the 97 car here off of turn number 4. He's racing with Rochelle in the 12. Off turn 4. Loose. Barely gets a shot there from the 12. That was really just King getting free.
Ooh, Blade Timmons. Gonna have the Murtis Esports Murtis Mega Miss nomination right there. That was close.
See it there again. Just got loose. Barely gets a tap from the 12 and came back up the racetrack slightly. Did a good job of keeping it down, but it got close there for Timmons. And you mentioned seeing the 7 have an issue. That was Norman. Here's his look at it. He's back here with Scavnicki, Hom, Timmons. I don't know that he went down the order at all.
I could have sworn I saw him jumping down the running order.
Thankfully, it looks like he's safe. And of course, with the start of the race, he's in the chase at this point. But still worth talking about. He was needing to be good on the chase bubble coming into this evening. He's doing well for himself so far. Gladlich in the pit lane. Here he is. Along with Hom in the 88, Anderson in the 41, Cydrus in the 40, and King in the 97 comes in, gets service, will roll back out as Alex Edelman gets the free pass.
I will say, I try not to bring it up too much when it's not necessarily pertinent, but one has to give a nice shout out to Mr. Josh Conover, who decided to come over Driver Radio and talk about how before their race at New Hampshire next week, we will be having our Legends event on the New Hampshire road course. So telling all the drivers if they want to get some practice in turning left and right, he'll be able to showcase that we'll be running some Legend cars next week at New Hampshire. Or not next week, tomorrow, actually.
No, it is next week.
No, it's at the 25th.
Tomorrow is for us to confirm the lap count for next Monday's event as well.
I'm having a brain fart.
So we're running them tomorrow and Monday. Tomorrow at New Hampshire, just like next week at New Hampshire. But since we are running right into Harpoon Design Countdown to Green, we want to make sure we have a good lap count. We'll run 2 races tomorrow, 1 race on Monday. That way we have some research under our belts, and we don't take too long. So, if anybody from NORA wants to run the Legends race ahead of next week's NORA race, you can run tomorrow night to get some practice and get some early laps. That way you look like you know what you're doing, possibly. But yeah, so between now and next Monday, technically three Legends races, 2 tomorrow, 1 next week. Green flag on the way. Chase Durheim, Josh Conover, Cody Anderson, green flag. One lap complete off the restart. Great run so far by Durheim. Hanging on these stop and go yellows. First car on tires, that is Christenberry. He has got company. Everybody else right behind him has got tires at some point in this race. And they are on the move. One around in the back. That is King again. Caution again. Get a look at it here for the 97. Unfortunately, it looks in that little preview like a lot of the same thing. Yep, sure enough. Too deep into turn one. Backed it around and into the outside wall. Oh, that was close. That might be your Murtis Mega Miss.
Oh boy.
Here's Kingdom to turn one. You see the car just getting real free on braking. And sure enough, nearly wipes out the 88. Thankfully did not. And then right there. Oh. And King has called it a night.
Well, it's gonna sound really bad on me to say, but at least he made it more laps than he did at Auto Club.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of getting a handle on these cars. He clearly was doing good in that first run tonight. Was doing a whole lot better than we saw at California last week, but once you have one, you know, once it rains, it pours, something like that. Corey Powell will grab the free pass. He will get up to 10 laps to go, 10 laps down rather, versus being stuck 11 laps down. So this caution does benefit him. Just not all that largely. Still a long ways to go. Let's go ahead and grab a driver to talk to under this caution. That will be, if I can find him. Hang on, I actually don't see him. Oh, there he is. Let's go ahead and grab the driver of the number 11. And Jake, before we go back green here in a lap or so, you are the top car on tires currently. Is there, I guess, what's in the back of your mind with, I mean, you've got 2 tires right behind you still in Caden, but everybody else on 4. Is that starting to worry you at all?
Not yet. You know, my laps were only at 98%, so not too bad. It's not something I would normally do, pitting early like that, but at this point I got nothing to lose, so I just figured I'd try something different.
I like that mindset. Nothing to lose, definitely. Just eliminated, unfortunately, from the chase, as there aren't enough cars for you to make enough points on Ronnie. But do we see more of these chances taken? It looks like you're working with some new drivers tonight. Is there anything to that?
No, I just didn't want to be in the chat alone, so it just gets a little lonely cruising out here by yourself. So jumped in, just, you know, at this point we're just having fun and finish out the season and still trying to get us a win.
Fair enough. Best of luck tonight. We'll keep watching that 11 car. Jake Christenberry will get him back down to the drivers he was working with. That's the DEI crew. Green flag on the way. 41 complete. 199 to go. Nice and steady off of turn number 2. That's the problem spot for a lot of drivers. Jones and Tucker fighting here, Zach. This is for 10th position. Also the top end of the drivers who have 4 tires on their car. I should be clear. Everybody has 4 tires on their car. And yeah, Nathan Anderson in trouble. Everybody has 4 tires in their car, but those 2 are the first on 4 new tires since the beginning of the race. Let's go back and see what happened here to the 41 of Anderson. Moved up the racetrack there to miss his teammate Corey Powell off of turn 4. That one might end up going on the trailing car that time, Zach. It seemed like he had the car relatively under control and got a slight boot there from Wayne Sparks. You could tell the 41 was loose, but I think he still had it within grasp, and then a slight nudge. Yeah,
I am surprised that was a caution. He's off the racing surface.
I think that's decently consistent with what we've seen from iRacing at this track, because he slid for a good while perpendicular to the racing surface. Look at this. Slide, slide, slide. I agree. If you have real race control, especially if this is a Legends race, you could leave that green. But I think in a more NASCAR style race, I think that makes sense to throw the caution, as unfortunate as it may be for the rest of the field. This is one of the more caution-heavy races we've seen from this series in a while. But again, it's going to benefit Corey Powell. He gets the free pass once again. He's now 9 laps down. Wouldn't it be something? And oftentimes we get behind on this stat and we forget to track it throughout the course of the race. Wouldn't it be something if he gets enough cautions to get back on the lead lap?
It's possible. It's full well possible. Right now, Powell sits 9 laps down. He's going to pass Zach King here pretty soon, which would put him as the first car 1 lap down.
Well, King's not in the race anymore.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's going to pass him here soon. He just needs to keep clicking off laps.
Wayne Sparks into the pit lane. I do wonder if race control is going to assess the cause to him. Typically, with him pitting here, I would assume that means he already knows he's getting the caused caution, and he will just go ahead and get the tires anyway, since he's gone to the back anyways. But the field paces around a little bit farther under caution. We haven't yet looked at the schedule for this season. Here we go. Richmond, the final race of the regular season. From here on out, Zach, it's all for the championship. New Hampshire next week, then Rockingham 2 weeks later, as we will be off for Labor Day on September the 7th. And it's Talladega, Kansas, Charlotte, Martinsville, Atlanta, Texas, Phoenix, Miami. A lot of racetracks we've not been to, and at that point, it'll be like 6 months, I think, for a lot of them. 4 for others. I mean, it'll be quite a while since we've seen a lot of these racetracks coming up, as I think from Talladega on, with the exception of Martinsville and Miami, yeah, we are hitting those tracks all for the second time this season.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
It's a good time to be watching the NORA Retro Cup Series, brought to you by Harpoon Design. Green flag on the way again for Chase Durheim. It's Conover, Anderson, Senior, and more at the front of the field. Rochelle is 5th. How about that for the 12 car? Green flag coming, and we are racing again, just inside of 200 to go at Richmond. Definitely a start and stop kind of attrition race as we are back under yellow. Edelman around along with Anderson. And this puts Powell back to the pit lane. Zach, there he is, destroyed.
You hate to see it for the 42 car, especially since Powell has been very adamant on the fact that he wants to do better. He wants to be competitive. He wants to just show him he can contend, as the 41 and the 2 make contact, and the 2 just rolls back up and collects the 41 and the 42.
Wow. Yeah. These are guys
the contact was pretty straightforward, Andrew. The 41 got into the 2. There's not much else that you can say. Going down in the corner, just gets in there a little deeper and rolls through the corner better than the 2 car. Hits him, and then instead of holding the brake, just slides backwards and boom. And Corey Powell's chances of getting back on the lead lap are just done.
And I'm not going to say... Now, I guess the way I approach this, I have to be very careful. I got to be clear. The league and we... I won't speak too much of the league here, but I know the league is going to want anybody that's willing to race that, meets their criteria. We also want to see anybody who's willing to race that meets the criteria. However, this incident screams, you guys need more practice to me. I'm going to be honest. That was just Anderson. I don't think he realized where the bumper was. Because he rolled up into the 2, and that's easy to do, frankly, especially in these cars. You get used to the next-gen cars where, A, you can make contact bumper to bumper. B, I think the actual stretch from the greenhouse to the end of the front bumper is a little bit shorter than these cars. So the front bumper on these stick out a little more. Certainly the rear bumper does. And I think that tricks a lot of drivers into a false sense of security. But also, he stayed in the 2 car right there, and then Edelman let it roll back up. Like you said, just didn't hold the brakes at all. And that made this so much worse than it needed to be. I mean, the initial mistake is one thing, but The 41 stayed in him, and the 2 didn't hit the brakes. And that ultimately takes Corey Powell out of the race when he otherwise did not need to be out of the race. I hate to be that blunt, but...
I mean, if you didn't say it, I would. And you see the 41 rolling back out onto the racetrack.
I also think, you know, if this is week 1 for the whole league, that's one thing, but these guys are racing for championships soon, and tonight is somewhat of a throwaway for most of them, but especially when we get to New Hampshire next week, you've got to be well-oiled machine, and that just means getting some practice in and maybe driving a little bit under your confidence and your ability. These are difficult cars. Treat this like the Cup Series. Take your opportunity, drive a little bit under where you think you should be, take care of the equipment. Green flag on the way, 52 complete, a whole lot more to go. Anderson and Senior battling 3rd and 4th. You also see Guileless and Christenberry fight off of turn 4. Those guys who took those new tires, it has now been 36 laps, primarily under caution. Corey, good to see you out in YouTube chat. Hate that you're out of the race. It has been a while for these guys on these tires, and yet it's mostly been under caution, Zach. But you see, they are still working for Brian Jones. He's on the outside looking around the 5, the 11 maybe. Where could he go?
He's got to go somewhere, that's for sure. He's got to find his way forward and clear up to 28, down into 3, but Guileless stuffs his nose in there. Not enough to get side by side with the 11, but enough to show Christenberry that he is not able to put that 11 car on the bottom yet. Now clear fully and can run his line, but still leaving half a lane.
How about Wayne Sparks?
Yeah, setting the fastest lap of the race so far. It's becoming a noticeable trend as we roll through this race, Andrew. These guys are running about half a lane to a lane off the bottom, and it's showing. They are fast. They're very fast, actually. As Durheim continues to lead, Conover in 2nd, Anderson 3rd, Senior 4th, and Rochelle up into that 5th spot. These guys are making some gains, I will say, Andrew. Looking at, statistically right now, just looking at the top 5, all of these guys, except for Chase Durheim, started outside the top 10. You've got Durheim, who started 8th. He's up to the lead. You've got Conover, who started 14th. He's 2nd. Anderson started 10th, so he's inside the top 10, but he's right there. He's up to 3rd. You've got Hunter Sr., who was 18th, he's up to 4th, and Rochelle, who started 21st, he's up to 5th. Everybody else kind of just dropping down the running order for the most part.
And you see there the positions gained on the right side of your pylon. You've got Housen down 1, Jones down 6, Christenberry up 1, Henry Oaks up 3, Tucker down 6. That's a stark contrast to the whole top 5, as you were just mentioning. Durham up 7, 12 for Conover, 7 for Anderson, 14 for Senior, 16 for Rochelle. Those guys playing the long game on this opening set of tires for their race. They have got a lot of spots right now, but it will be the next 20 or so that I think is truly telling, maybe even 40 for these guys. As they told us, beginning of the day, they have about 75 to a tank. That's going to change with these cautions we've had all night long to this point. We've just now hit 60 laps complete. We're on a pretty slow pace compared to what this league typically does. I think Pandora's box is open for this first round of stops. I don't think it's open. I know it's open.
You can say it's open all you want, but these guys aren't going to come in just yet. Conover is looking to try and take that race lead away. Talked about it again, Andrew. This guy said this was his worst track, and here he is trying to run for the race lead. I picked Durheim to win the race at the top of the show, but I picked Conover to win the race in fantasy lineup. And down to the inside he goes, trying to shake it up with the 16. Anderson looking on, trying to see what he can get done with Senior right behind him. Conover cannot complete the pass, and they continue rolling on into turn 1, bumper to bumper as they run.
And hey, I will be very quick to call out criticisms. I will also be very quick to praise drivers when it's deserved. The whole field getting this run in now, a whole lot better than the last several. So props all around for these guys. It just takes driving within your means and being steady on the wheel and on the throttle. Here we go. Conover on the inside of Durheim, fighting for the lead. Lap 64 here of 240. It's still very early in this race, but this could be a very important battle as Conover gets the nose ahead, but is not clear.
Is he going to lead the lap? I think he did.
Just barely.
No, he did not. Durheim led it by 5/1000ths of a second.
It was that close between them. Yeah, still 0 laps led for the 48 cars. See the battles behind. These two at the front of the field, the most tantalizing of the bunch. Senior's starting to run up the racetrack as Durheim leads off the corner, and that puts Conover back in second. Let's watch Senior here. Actually watch from his perspective. He goes back down here in 1 and 2, but he was way up in 3 and 4. I wonder, is this a Darlington kind of situation as here we go for the race lead. Conover stays in the right rear of Durheim. That might be deal done. As soon as we get to the outside, that's a big advantage. Durheim hard on the brakes, trying to get back clear for first. Nearly had it. It's going to be Conover getting by eventually. It might take another lap or two. That 48's got him. Off of turn 4.
Hanging tough on the bottom, though.
And there goes Conover. Pass made. Josh Conover takes over on lap 67. And the 48 loose off of turn 2. Setting the tone here early, though, as we get closer and closer to the initial end of this first fuel window. And we talk about wanting to run this race in reverse. If you have got 75 to a tank, you back 75 up from 240, that would be 165. Back from that is 90. That is the target lap for these drivers now. Lap 90 gets you good to the end on one more stop. That's only 20 away. I think that's tangible for most. I'm not confident, though, that that's tangible for these guys who have stayed out all race. Maybe. I just don't know for sure.
I'm still confused on fuel strategy right now, Andrew. Like, I know we've explained it so far, but...
So if you can run 75 to a tank...
Hold on just a minute. I know where you're going to go with it, but my mental math is far different than yours. And currently, I'm mulling over the fact of where... If I'm always looking at it if I was in the car, okay? And... Which is really the only logical way to look at it, but... I don't know. I always try to plan ahead to where if I want to save like 1 or 2 change sets towards the end of the race in case there's a green-white checkered. So I just try to find a way to work it in that way, if that makes sense.
I think I can make this decently simple. Okay, if you are good on 75 per tank, do it with me on some paper here. Trust me. Trust the process. I got you.
Okie dokie.
Take 240, subtract 75. What does that get you?
240 subtract 75. Hold on, need the calculator because I am not good at simple math. 165.
All right, now subtract another 75.
90.
So, you have just subtracted 2 full fuel runs from the end of the race. So in order to make it to the end of the race on 2 more full fuel runs, lap 90 is where you would pit. That is 15 away as Conover gets the wall into turn 1. Odd place to get it. But that means if these guys pit on or after lap 90, they should theoretically be good to the end on 2 more fuel runs, because that's what you subtracted was the 275s. So that was 150 out of 240, basically. From there, from lap 90, their target becomes 165. From 165, they can go to the end, theoretically. We'll see how concrete that math is as the night goes on, but we've just passed lap 75. So now, as long as these guys have fuel for the next 15 laps, they should be good to make this a 2-stop race, beginning with the lap 90 stop. Now, you saw Guileless in the pit lane. He is about 15 to 20 laps short since he pitted on about lap 74. He has got to go a bit farther. He's got to make an extra stop effectively, or save a whole lot of fuel later on. He's also about to unlap himself. Actually, so yeah, he did just unlap himself, then crushed the wall. Big hit for Guileless. He goes back 2 laps down.
Right front damage.
Yeah, I don't know that that car is ticking quite the same as the leaders continue to fight. Just roll out of the gas here, buddy. There you go. Conover and Durheim, that's the fight for the lead. It's not a huge fight, but they keep swapping around as Guileless fires back up underneath the 16. And so, you know, on that talk of fuel strategy, Zach, again, if you get to 90, one more stop from there. That'll be at 165, and then your next theoretical stop will be 240, and that'd be the end of the race. Obviously, insurance is great. If you can go a little farther and get yourself some extra laps, it's awesome. But just to get to that point, we are wondering now, can Conover, Durheim, Anderson, Sr., Rochelle, even Housden, can they go the extra 15 laps from saving under caution to get to lap 90, or do they have to pit earlier? Meanwhile, everybody who pitted on earlier cautions should absolutely be good to that point, including these two, Arthur and Christenberry, who fight currently for 7th.
Durheim looking back down to the bottom again. He's going to try to roll his entry right here and see if he can carry it up off corner exit. Can't quite keep it there.
Was that at least a slightly better way of explaining the fuel math to the end?
Sure.
Well, so it's kind of like an endurance racing where, you know, if you've got a 12-hour race, for example, or 24, or 8, however many hours, if you know you can go an hour on fuel, you back it up by each hour and kind of figure out your plan to the end. Great battle still between these two. You saw Durheim get back to the inside of Conover, no dice. I think these guys' tires are just a little bit too shot at this point in time to really handle that side-by-side racing, but we are seeing this fight that's been in the background for most of this run. This is 3rd and 4th with Brian Jones just behind to make it for 6th, as Durheim might be falling off the cliff, so to speak. He is losing time to Conover ahead. As you watch 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And then farther back, look at these guys. Tucker and Henry Oakes. A little bit of contact there off of turn 2. Ryan Housden just behind. He's still on old tires that he started the race with. Oh, look at Tucker get free.
Oh, you said he's still on the tires he started the race with.
Yeah, Housden is. So is Conover, Durheim, Anderson, and Rochelle. That is a total of 6 cars that still have not yet hit the pit lane, and they're all gunning for lap 90. That's, again, where they can theoretically go to the end on one more stop. That's not that far away. 5 more laps for these guys. That has to be their target. Obviously, if you can go longer, go longer. Any extra laps you get is just icing on the cake, but as we have the fight for 3rd on screen, here we go. And the race lead. Conover gets back ahead. Anderson will clear Senior again. It's like they get battling for a singular corner, and then they immediately split back apart. Durheim to the pit lane. This is early, Zach.
Yeah, he's going to pit from the 2nd spot. I think he realizes that he just needs to find a way to split around Josh Conover, and I would expect that 48 car to react this lap now.
No, you got to go longer. You need to go longer. That's what I'm saying. You have to go to 90.
Yeah,
he comes in anyway.
There it is. Yes. This is what I wanted to see, because the undercut has been shown these last few races to be incredibly beneficial.
Not if the undercut makes you short on fuel. That's the trouble. Now, we'll have to find out later. If we get an interview, you could still be right. That could be what but we got to interview them at some point and ask, hey, is this stop out of necessity, or is it because Durheim came in? And even for Durheim, it could be a matter of tires versus fuel, and he's banking on being able to save some gas the rest of the way. But we got told 75, so this is still early for these guys. Because again, they need 2 more laps, effectively. These guys are about good. You can't undercut and make yourself short on fuel and think that's going to work. So it's a couple of possibilities. I want to know. I want to talk to them and get the clarification, because they might be good for 76, 77 or so. But if they're making themselves short on gas, that's a problem.
There is ample and open opportunity for things to move in the direction of this being a bit of a money stop, I'll say, as guys that are now making it to that lap 90 mark are heading to the pit lane, but they're still well off the race lead, especially Hunter Sr. right here. He was a little bit further back from those 2 race leaders. So, you know what? Here's a great example. Here is going to be a perfect example of whether or not those 2 pitting is going to end up shaping out the way they expect it to. Senior pitted after lap 90, obviously. You have the other 2, Conover and Durheim, that pitted before lap 90. So let's see where they shake up and ship out. As off of 4, here they are fighting with lap traffic. Where's Hunter Sr.?
Well, Durheim is
coming off the pit lane.
Durheim is, first of all, ahead of Conover, and you said the undercut from Conover, well...
I said he needed to cover it off.
I think he initially exited, actually, ahead of the 16 and then lost a spot, I think, from what I saw in the background of some other shots. Regardless, Durheim now ahead, as these guys are the first cars 1 lap down. Opposite end of the racetrack here is a battle for positions. This is Tucker, Henry Oaks, Timmons, Norman, and Sparks. All together with the 41 in between. He is a lapped car. That is Nathan Anderson, 2 laps down. He just pitted. And I mean, these guys running past lap 90, this is gravy for them. They could probably go another 10 laps or so. If I had to guess, maybe even just 5. And they'll be good. This is gravy. They are getting extra laps. But they've also got to be cognizant of the fact that, again, their numbers to the end are 90 and 165. They're good past 90 here. So now they're aiming for 165, and again, if you can go a little beyond that, then yeah, it's extra for you. So really, the pit window is open for everybody. As we await pit stops from your leaders that have taken over here late in the first 100, I want to give a big thank you to our partners with the series. As much as Zach and I go back and forth and borderline bicker about fuel strategy, we would not be out here, we would not be doing this if not for Harpoon Design, Sparks Builders, Dark Star Garage, and the National Oval Racing Association. National Online, I don't know, it's one of the 2. Josh will correct me, and that'll be okay. I believe it's National Oval Racing Association, and if so, maybe he can tell me I finally am getting it right more often than not. Regardless, if not for these groups on the left side of your screen, we would not be doing this here on a Monday evening. So a big thank you to all of them as you see Durheim and Conover work on by this gaggle of cars battling for positions. Timmons, Sparks, Henry Oaks, and Norman nearly gets into the 5 car. Might have just tagged his left rear, and that splits him apart a little bit as Brian Jones has got company. Here we go, Zach, for the race lead.
Inside, trying to make it work, but that top line is just so good on the defense. Vincent Arthur hanging on. And they've got a lap car in front of them that could end up playing a factor here.
End of the pits, it looks like, or maybe just slow off the corner. Oh, yep, end of the pits. Here we go. John Skavnicki. I actually had this diecast as a kid. I am fond of this paint scheme. Just thought I'd mention that. Here we go. Christenberry is in. I expect to see more Skavnicki last lap, Christenberry this lap, and this is the beginning of those drivers who pitted in the earlier cautions. So watch out for more. I would think we see Jones in ahead of Arthur since they are now good to 165. And here comes Durheim, here comes Conover. Especially as those two get past you, I think if you're Brian Jones, the time to pit is now. To actually pull a page out of your book, this would undercut underneath Arthur, and he's in a spot where he can do so and Arthur can't cover it the same lap. I think pit, and he doesn't.
Steve, the system works.
It does when you're good to the end. That's the caveat. Caden Henry Oaks comes in. You see Alex, is that Alex? Yeah, Alex Edelman. I'm still learning his name. Alex Edelman comes in the 2 car. And look, I said earlier, I will absolutely critique a downfall. I will also praise a success. And that run went a whole lot better the rest of the way for Alex Edelman and for Nathan Anderson. So already, progress there for the 2 and 41 cars as they continue to figure these cars out. Pit stop, by the way, for Brian Jones. He is in along with Ronnie Norman. So that's that undercut I was talking about. That's that 104 on to 105, and the 24 responds.
Into the pit lane he goes. Pretty close on almost having a pit entry violation, I will say. That was
these guys
very,
have all
very
been close. Go back to ARN. It was that way too with their event here. They were super, super close. Even Full Send was super, super close on that orange box coming into the pit lane. I thought we would have some violations, but we didn't. As Tucker now leads and continues on. Until they all pit, I don't know exactly how this is all going to break down, who's going to be where, but I can tell you that Durheim is now unlapped from the leaders. There he is. That is the top driver that has pitted in this cycle, albeit maybe slightly short. Matthew George is in the 25. Here comes Dalton Tucker out of the race lead. May as well just go ahead and ride on this camera for a minute. We should see a whole lot more come around. So Timmons takes over. He's coming around the pit lane now. There he is, stuck on the outside of Rochelle. He stays out. Sparks does as well. Watch the orange 20 in about 5 more seconds. There he is. He stays out. Hom in the UPS 88 also stays out. Those are the final 4 big dominoes to fall. Timmons through Hom. There's Timmons. One in the wall up top. Matthew George, the 25, has absolutely clobbered the outside wall, Zach. That's effectively day done for him. He's going to pull off and park right there on the entry to turn 1. Thankfully, no. There it is. That will draw the caution. This is straight out of the pit lane for the 25. Loose, 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 loose. Boom, wall.
That's a big, big impact right there to the wall.
And this does, unfortunately, draw the yellow. I'm surprised that it does. He was well out of the way. Is there anything else that we can see from high above? That's him stopping. There's the yellow. I don't see anything else. Boy, this changes a whole lot. This completely messes up this fuel strategy run. Timmons is now in. Who is first? First one lap down is Vincent Arthur. That's going to trap Brian Jones. And since there are cars on the lead lap, Zach, they will not be getting a free pass. They won't be getting a wave around, I should say.
Oh, geez, man.
Yeah, this completely throws a wrench in the race for just about everybody, aside from the drivers that are going to benefit and get a free stop out of this. And I mean, you have to come in. You have to come in and get service if you're on the lead lap. This is too big of an opportunity not to. This is 130 to go effectively. You can shorten your runs up now to about 65 and 65 from here. This is a very valuable opportunity. Gladulus ran straight through the pit lane, by the way. He still needs to pit. I don't know why he hasn't. Did not take service under this yellow. Blade Timmons did. He's the first one out. So he should effectively take over the race. Let's go ahead and dial him up. He is actually coming into tonight. Blade Timmons is 11th in our power rankings, just one spot shy of being listed on our graphic. Blade, that's just been the last couple of races for you. You have absolutely lit things up at this 29. Is there something that's working for you specifically in this camp versus the other starts you've made this season?
No, just luck, I guess, man. I just I just try to run this fuel stuff out and try to save tires as best I can. That's been my strength these last 3 or 4 races, so that's what we're trying to do tonight, and it kind of worked out in our favor.
I was going to say, speaking of fuel and tires and everything else, this is going to work out nicely for you, right? I mean, you guys all get a free stop out of this pretty much. You're about to have to come in. How many more laps were you going to go?
I had a lap and a half of fuel left, and that was it. So I was literally fixing the pit when that thing came out.
So good timing for you. You get the race lead here. Does this help you the rest of the way?
I'm hoping so. Long run speed seems the car's getting pretty tight, so I'm hoping that the clean air will help me out and not getting so tight. So we'll figure it out as we go green here and hopefully get another long run.
Hey, best of luck to you.
Appreciate it, bud.
Blade Timmons leading as we approach another restart. Yeah, pace car lights back on. I was thinking they're going to have to do that. Yeah, the field is just completely disjointed. What's happened here, Zach, is Christenberry did not get a wave by. He gets stuck with Guileless and Anderson 1 lap down. Everybody else did, actually. So Brian Jones got a wave by, along with Vincent Arthur. Actually, I think he got free pass. Tucker got a wave around, along with Norman and Skavnicki. So this is interesting. Should go green this time. This is the lineup, effectively. You see it in real time. The 4 that are stuck a lap down on the inside, those are the 28, the 40, the 41, and the 2, but also the 11. Jake Christenberry stuck 1 lap down, just end of the longest line back there as we enter the restart zone. Green flag on the way. 125 to go. Green flag. Cold tires for a lot of these drivers. Contact their teammates off of turn 2. Caution is out. Sidrus, Edelman, and Gladgelich just makes it on through. We saw it happening more or less in real time. Let's go back and see what happened here for the 41 and 40 off of turn 2. Anderson in the 41, again, gets in the back of somebody, just doesn't let him gather it up. Drives away as Sidra spins.
That's not the first time we've seen Chip Ganassi teammates get into each other tonight either.
Yeah. Granted, earlier it wasn't exactly this same format. It was Anderson and Powell that got into it. Powell kind of was the unassuming victim. This time, Anderson just hit Sidrus, just like he hit... Oh, did you see that for the 24? So, yes, Anderson hit Sidrus just like he hit Edelman earlier. What we've got to watch is who hits Edelman this time. That's the 24 of Vincent Arthur. Watch this. This is big, Zach. Bust the nose on that car. I mean, he should be mostly okay, right? But that, I mean, damage is damage, and who knows if that did anything to the toe on the right front. That's just hard enough of a hit that it could have.
We will have to wait and find out.
And for the 2, I mean, this is a really, really big hit off the corner. He's lapped there on the inside of Anderson, doing okay, minding his own business. The crash happens. He has nowhere to go, ends up getting hit there by the 24 into the wall, and you see Gladgelich just roll on by on the inside. I mean, Edelman should be able to continue, but that car, once again, with a whole lot of damage that it just did not need. But that was all reactionary, just trying to miss the crash, as this is an opportunity for guys who could not get to the pit lane last caution to now potentially have a chance to pit, as Arthur is in. This is important for him. And Zach, I tell you what, I know it's a moot point now, we may as well go ahead and dial up Durheim and Conover. Well, one of them. Well, let's go ahead and go for Chase, I think. If he's in Discord. He actually might not be. Ah, he is. No, he's not. He's not. Alright, let's get Josh. I'll let you talk to him.
Oh, I'd be happy to talk to him.
Here it comes.
Happy to see where his head's at right now. And Mr. Josh Conover, you told us time and time again that you would be struggling tonight, but you have been at the front of the field just most of the race. Come on, man, you're making it look bad. You're making yourself look bad.
Yeah, there's been some luck in that one, but we'll see now that everybody's kind of on the same page if I can stay up here.
Well, you're going to have to put us all to shame and go out there and try to win that race. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, buddy.
That caution came upon us
We're going to
pretty
send
quick.
Conover back down.
Bear with me, Josh. I'm working on it. Here's the click. He's back down there. Green flag. That caution ended a lot quicker than I thought it would. And we still have to dial him back up at some point and ask him about the actual strategy move. But he goes right to the inside of Durheim here. This is for 4th spot off the restart. Timmons gets away. This is everybody else trying to fight. Durheim the big switch down to the inside of Christenberry.
Doesn't quite get there and backs out of it, not to tip the 11 around in the corner as Conover rolls up to the back bumper. Christenberry still staying low. Hahn to the outside. Durheim trying to find his way forward on the 88 car. Oh, 43 car going around Sparks. Spins in front of the field.
Wayne Sparks off of turn number 2. Problems for the driver who began the season in the number 5 car. Let's see what happened to him here down into turn 1. Just loose on entry like we've seen for so many drivers tonight. I would imagine, Zach, these guys are pumping a good bit of rear brake into the car just to try and get it to turn. I mean, you heard Caden at the top of the show, Caden Henry Oaks, talking about the car just losing the nose, not wanting to actually get around the corner. I would think these guys have a lot of rear brake, and this is just an effect of it. Nice miss by Nick Hom. Let's dial up Josh Conover again for real this time, and Zach, let's see if we can actually get to ask him about that strategy on that previous green flag run.
So, Josh, we gotta know where was the mentality with that last strategy on that last green flag run? What's the game plan? Because we expected you to run to lap 90 to make it to the end.
No real strategy, to be honest. I never really get clean air here, and I don't really know what the car does. So it's like, oh, I'll just stay out and see what happens. And then the cards kind of fell my way where guys just either pitted or, I got a couple spots on the restarts and wound up leading a little bit.
So, Andrew, I might bounce off you here a little bit, but Andrew was expecting to see these guys, especially you guys, run to lap 90, make one more stop, make it to the end. I, myself, feel like you guys could have changed up the fuel strategy and you were trying to cover off the undercut by pitting just a few laps beforehand. Do you think you would have still made it if the race would have ran green from there, or do you think you had to hit that marker for lap 90 like Andrew was talking about?
I'm assuming Chase was in the same boat I was. I couldn't go any further. I had probably half a gallon of fuel left, if not, actually probably less than that. We probably would have needed 2 more from there, I think. I think even still now I need at least 1 more. So, no, like I said, no real strategy there. I kind of just ran it dry from, obviously staying out, and it's just kind of where the cards went.
Andrew, you want to chime in real quick before green about any of that?
Yeah, so the math was basically 165 and 90 are your pit laps, and you guys came in, so Chase put it at 88 rather, and you were at 89. So, I mean, is there a room outside of that 75 lap number? Can you guys go, like 76, 77? Because you would have been good if you could.
I think I'm actually a little under that, like maybe 72, so not 100% sure on that one, to be honest.
Well, best of luck. We'll get you back down. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's good info, Zach, that they actually may be a little bit short of that lap 75 number. Green flag back in the air for Blade Timmons. That is huge information for the rest of this race. Big moves already. Durheim straight to the bottom. Conover tries to follow. Off the corner again. The 2 and the 12.
No.
Caution.
The Penske cars.
Yep. And
Going
Edelman
around.
has pulled that car to the pit lane. Rochelle will continue. I do want to say, as much as I will diagnose and effectively put blame on a driver, this is a very tricky combo. Edelman was kind of putting on the bottom, and his teammate Rochelle just got into him, and then you saw Tucker get Rochelle. I just don't think Rochelle was expecting Edelman to roll as slowly off of 2 as he did. This is off of 4 down into turn 1. This is the actual start, I do believe. And then here off of turn 2, gets in the gas. Edelman doesn't. And then he gets jacked up from behind. Doesn't hit anything, though.
Keeps it rolling.
And for Edelman, well, we can list it in, see if he ever did get back to the gas at all. A little. It's just real easy on it. Gets tagged around, and that is it for him. That's what, like the 3rd time the poor guy's been turned off of turn 2? Well, Zach, yeah, this has been definitely a detour from traditional NORA standards, but Richmond is that way sometimes. We talk about it, right? Also a detour from, I think, typical races here. Nick Hom is 2nd. I'm scanning Discord. I didn't see him earlier. Can we talk to him, or is he... No, I don't see him in Discord channels. Huh. Well, drivers, I mean, this is just a reminder. If you want us to talk to you, you've got to be in Discord. There's not a whole lot of you out there actually in Discord tonight. It's like 3 little groups, 4 little groups. And that's it, but... I guess then we can go ahead and dial up this guy that we were talking about earlier, and I picked to win, if you recall. He is chatting with Blade Timmons and Alex Edelman. Let's go ahead and bring in Brian Jones, who has 2 wins out of 3 races here at this track in this series. Brian, I picked you to win at the start of the day. You took a little while to get to the lead. Once you did, you got 14 lead, and then everything has kind of gone a little bit sideways from there. What's the outlook at this point?
Oh, I'm just hoping we don't wreck here. I don't know what's going on with people wrecking multiple times and whatever, but I figure like you got to have the car figured out by this point, and I don't know why we're still wrecking, so it's going to be tough to get back up there with all the stop and go, but we'll see what we can do.
Even under green, how hard is it to pass?
I mean, it's normal Richmond stuff. It's not great, not terrible.
Fair enough. Best of luck. Restart coming up for Brian Jones and the whole field here. He gets back down into 1st gear, it sounds like. Out of turn 4. Restart on the way. We are racing again at Richmond. Already down the backstretch. This seems like it has been the battle for the last 100 laps or so. And we are back under caution. I think this is Guileless this time?
No, it's not. It's not Guileless. The cause of the caution is Andrew Cardinale IV.
Incorrect. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
We were running good until you said we've had the longest green flag run of the night as Guileless sends it into the corner. Christenberry, wow!
You know, I don't recall specifically saying that. I think this is propaganda. Anti-Andrew propaganda. That's what I call this. Guileless, rear brake, loose, around. That's been the theme. Here's Christenberry. Oh ho 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 ho. Oh, so close. And he has just gotten back on the lead lap, by the way. So that could have easily been his entire night, wadded right back up and, you know, in trouble. He is in the pit lane taking service, the 11 car, but He finally gets to pit, it looks like, after the first time in a little while, and gets new tires in the car, and will head back out. Nick Geilis, meanwhile, seems to be losing a lap. There go the leaders. Oh, maybe not. A little race off the pit lane here. Lightning McQueen style. I'm surprised, Zach, that we have not yet seen this guy get back in the car. He's still in Discord. Let's grab him. let's grab him. Let's just go ahead and grab Kevin Baumler. You know, it's been a little while. We've been seeing your car sitting here in the pits. Is there any chance you get back out?
No, that thing, Brady's gonna have to buy a new motor, unfortunately. So, I already texted him. He didn't seem terribly upset because we were locked in coming into the night, but I hate that happened. I don't know if it was cold tires or what. It's, you know, I've got a new wheel. I've been using it for a couple months now, though. And that's the first time I've ever felt something like that. I went down the corner and it just started to get loose, and as soon as I tried to correct it, it just snapped. So I hate that I think I gave the 20 some damage from that too. So was really looking forward to tonight. I feel like I'm pretty decent getting around Richmond, and yeah, didn't go how I had it planned.
Well, you can only go out from here, New Hampshire next week. It's similar, right, in that it's a shorter track. I'm not going to say short track necessarily, but shorter track. And, you know, a lot of off-throttle time, a lot of break into the corner. Do you think you have anything there at the Magic Mile?
I hope so. At least try to kind of bounce back from the last couple weeks and maybe sneak out a top 5 finish. It seems like the shorter or mild tracks that are a little flatter are kind of more in my wheelhouse. I don't know if that comes from a dirt background, because even tonight we were slipping and sliding around, so I feel like it gives me a little bit of advantage. So obviously not the way I want to start the chase with what happened last week, missing or getting the unsafe pit entry and then mostly stepping on tonight. But hopefully we can start to build some momentum here the next 10 weeks and see where we stack up going into Homestead.
And as we watch this restart, Josh Conover making some big moves. We've seen a lot of drivers real loose into turn 1, not so much turn 3. I gotta suspect that's that transition from already kind of having a turn down the front stretch into that corner, and also a lot of rear bias. Is that on track?
Yeah, I think, you know, just spotting for Josh and Vinny, I think everybody, or at least us three, were running a lot of rear bias. And it seems like turn 1 has always been the problem here for whatever reason, whether that's the degree of banking or the, like you mentioned, the front stretch getting into 1 is just completely different than 3 and 4.
And just like that, we see Nick grab the wall and kind of get stuck to it there into turn 1. Kevin, I appreciate your time. Best of luck next week in New Hampshire. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon with a more positive tone.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy the rest of the race, guys.
Absolutely, 100 to go this time by, and that is Kevin Baumler out of the race early, helping some friends get around the racetrack. You saw Hom lose some spots. It is a battle now for the top few positions, as Caden Henry Oaks, as of about 2 laps ago, is out of the race. Not sure what happened to the 5 car.
And we'll have to find out at some point what happened to him, as Durheim's up to the top side on Conover, trying to make a pass around the top side. Timmons holding him up on the bottom. Durheim way up top, cuts back down through the center, but he's boxed in. There's nowhere to go. Conover to the inside of Timmons, but covers the spot off. I think that 48 car just needs to get a run on the 29 as best as he can and keep Durheim boxed in, because that box right there
Here we go,
is preventing the 16 from moving forward.
3 wide, maybe, if Durheim can stay up there. No. They get back down to 2. If Chase can just get his right or his left front to the outside of the right rear of Timmons off the corner, he's got something. He might do it this time. He does. Chase Durheim on the outside of Blade Timmons. That might be the way to do it. The outside lane has made some passes already tonight for the lead. We saw Conover do it earlier on Durheim. Durheim now slides back in behind the 29 car. No dice. And here comes Chase Durheim right back to the inside, buries it in on the brakes. trying to get around the 29 of Blade Timmons to get back to the race lead. These guys on pretty even footing as Hunter Sr. joins the fight.
Senior watching on, seeing these guys duke it out, and maybe seeing if he can put that 33 car up to the front of the field. Conover taking more looks down to the bottom on Durheim, trying to take the second spot away from the 16. No dice just yet.
Hearing it is a hardware issue for Caden Henry Oaks, something with the PC, pulling him out of tonight's race. He is now down in 18th. He is actually back in the sim. 7 laps down. Big move there. Durheim back to the inside, shoves Timmons up the racetrack. There's Caden Henry Oaks right in front of the leaders. And Durheim has got the spot after a bit of short track driving, muscled Timmons up the racetrack for the spot. He didn't hit him. He rubbed him.
And Robinson is racing.
Great battles here at the front of the field. Conover hot in pursuit now of Timmons as Durheim gets away. You see the difference off the corner. He gets the power down so much better than the 29. Here comes a 33 on the outside. That is Hunter Sr. He might have something here for the 48 car.
Senior up on the top side. And he gets a run right here. Conover's trekking backwards.
I'm telling you, Hunter Sr. might be coming to life at just the right time this season. Dalton Tucker still looks just as good as ever. Vincent Arthur's looked really good. This 33, though, coming right back to life when he needs to. Last week, maybe a slight detour from that, but since getting in this 33 car and actually being paired up with some teammates, he has gotten so much better. He is so much more consistently at the front. That said, he is a teammate to the 29 who is kind of holding this whole operation up as Durheim starts to get a slight advantage over these guys. Still very, very close at the front of the field and battles further back. Brian Jones has gotten clear of Nick Hom, who now has a mirror full of Dalton Tucker in the 8th position. Behind them, Ronnie Norman, Jake Christenberry battle here for the 11th spot, it looks like. And we are down, by the way, to just 16 cars on the lead lap. We started 25 at the green flag. We are inside of 90 to go, so we are finally getting through a good bit of it. But the attrition has very much been setting in for at least 100 laps or so.
Tucker down to the bottom here on Nick Hom. You know, Andrew, we expected to see Tucker a little bit further up in the running order just because he's been on a tear so much this season. And seeing him just on the outer sides of the top 5, on the back half of the top 10, especially watching Nick Hom hit the wall right there, it's a surprising sight. I'm sure we'll see him fight up a little bit further, but as of right now, as they run, he's sitting in the 7th spot. And he's looking to stay there for a little bit as he's trying to track down Brian Jones.
Battle for the race lead. Blade Timmons back to the inside of Chase Durheim as we get word in YouTube chat from Brady Motes himself tuning in that maybe he might be back in the car next week in New Hampshire. The top 4 under a blanket. Anderson not far back in 5th. Jones also not far back in 6th. Most of the field very close together, and these leaders side by side again through 3 and 4. Durheim, though, has that outside lane, can keep defending as he got a little free off of 4. Keeps the top spot over Blade Timmons for now. I will say, Zach, this has been one of the more wide open races in NORA in a little while. You look at laps led so far this evening, 60 for Durheim, 40 for Timmins, 21 for Conover, 14 for Jones. Senior Anderson have been right behind all of them the whole way. Even Baumler had 11 laps led at the start of the race. This has been a very, very wide open race. I mean, Tucker's got 2, Arthur's got 5. They look good on the long run. Frankly, I can't pinpoint a favorite tonight, and that, I don't always say that. I couldn't even pinpoint a favorite 2 or 3 right now.
You can't ask me to pinpoint one either.
Slow car ahead, that's the 40 of Dakota Sidrus. He's done a good job tonight of staying out of trouble. Did get turned around by his teammate Nathan Anderson a little while ago, but Sidrus being very, very careful to stay respectful, learn this car, let the leaders do their thing. Does exactly that here through 1 and 2. He's got to be somewhere on the racetrack, right? So he's got to occupy it. Oh, that was close with Senior. He's got to occupy at least one lane, but he's doing his best to make sure he only occupies that one lane. Meanwhile, drivers catching him. How about Brian Jones and Dalton Tucker? This is a battle for 6th, and these two are right on top of each other, side by side off of turn number 2. And they're approaching Sidrus.
Lap car's going to add some complexity to the battle right here. Tucker rolled right up onto the bumper of the 45 of Jones. He's going to look to the middle, but he has to cross it back down to the bottom. I wonder if he's going to get the run here. It doesn't look like he is. Vincent Arthur now trying to work his way into the mix.
He will get by the 40 car, but it was a little bit sketchy there into turn number 1. Durheim has got a mirrorful again of Blade Timmons as Senior is squarely up into 3rd over Conover. This is a fun fight, and if you recall, this was that lap, more or less, that we're coming on to, 165, that would make these guys more or less good to the end. You want to go longer if you can, and now, hearing that Conover might not be able to get 75 to a run, maybe you're looking more like 170, 175, even 180 to go to the end on 60 to the end. That's in reach.
Just trying to make it work. That's all you can do.
Good battles throughout. Brian Jones, Dalton Tucker, Vincent Arthur. 3 of the best drivers in the series doing battle here, 7th, 8th, and 9th, or rather 6th, 7th, 8th. As they are behind this top 5 that is doing so much battle to figure out who's going to lead this race, at least for the next little while. Durheim a little free off of turn 4. Timmons to the inside. And Senior approaches.
Timmons back to the inside here. Hunter Senior now getting to the inside of Timmons as we look on the front bumper of the 29. Now out the back shot of Durheim in the 16. They are just so on top of each other right now. And Josh Conover is still about 4 tenths behind this. Watching it all unfold, waiting to see if he can close back in a little bit. Closes the 10th off of turn number 4.
One car to the pit lane, Brian Jones. Okay, this is interesting. A little bit early from him. He's run 63 laps, though, since that previous stop out of that last green flag run. So he comes in for service. He is good to the end from here. I'm a little worrisome, but here comes Hunter Senior for the top spot.
Hanging low.
Senior down to the inside. Durham at the racetrack. Off of turn number 4. Who's going to have it at the stripe? Hunter Senior. It was a drag race. I don't know who led. Was it Hunter Senior?
Looking now. Last time by the line, it was Senior. And caution is out on the racetrack off of turn number 2.
That's exactly why I was worried about that call for Brian Jones. A caution comes out, and immediately his strategy up in the air. You see Gladulich aborts the pit stop so as to not lose too many laps. He still loses one. That's going to bury him, and Brian Jones pitted a little bit too early. He is now a lap down, stuck behind Gladulich even. That was him off the pit lane, and what happened to bring the yellow out? That was, I believe, Rochelle. Here he is. Racing with Housden. Slight contact there, and some more. And you heard Brian Jones earlier. Very, I would say, honestly, irate about the amount of cautions tonight. This is not going to make him any happier.
I wouldn't think so.
I think ultimately that's just racing. Yeah, I think ultimately that's just racing, but I mean, obviously could have been avoided. I'm curious who race control is going to put that on. I don't know personally, because you have the dive from Howes, and he was barely there. At the same time, Rochelle kind of came down, and then off the corner, Rochelle just didn't go. I think he was still gathering the car up. Housden went and ran to the back of him. Honestly, I don't know what race control should do with that. But I do know that we may have just seen 2 tires for the win from Vincent Arthur. Pit timer, there it is, 10.5. Senior and everybody else takes 4. Senior out ahead of Timmons, out ahead of Durheim. This race has just flipped once again. Let's dial up a driver who has now got a whole new set of work out ahead of him. That is Hunter Senior, who has looked really good through the mid portion of this race. And Hunter, what might have been an opportunity for you to get the lead away in the pit lane, you're suddenly second place again, but now to a guy with 2 tires. Do you think you can get Vincent here, or is he back off to the races like last week?
With how this car's been on the long runs, I don't think there's anybody who's going to be competing with us, so I'm pretty confident. As long as I just manage my stuff like I have been, I think I should be fine.
And of course, this isn't necessarily that impactful in terms of the points, but it will impact seating a little bit for the chase, and certainly affects momentum going into another flat, kind of short-style racetrack at New Hampshire next week. How important is this race for you?
It's pretty important. I mean, I'm racing Josh and Dalton, so whatever I can do to get the first seed, it's pretty important.
Fair enough. Hunter Senior trying to go for that top seed. Still, best of luck here.
Thank you so much. You guys have a good night.
You as well. Hunter Senior, 33 car, going to restart second. Restart zone coming for Arthur, Senior, Timmons, Durheim, Conover, Anderson, and Tucker. Green flag again here at Richmond. Everybody good to the end. Several pit stops across the board. Timmons loses off of turn 2. Great save out of the 29, but he is going backwards.
Big time backwards in a hurry to the outside of Tucker now. Trying to hang on to that spot. He gets back to it. Crosses over from a snapping loose Cody Anderson. And he is going to retake that position and get back up into the top 5. Tucker, little bit of contact with Anderson. Moves past him for the 6th spot.
Yeah, he just showed his old car out of the way. Oh, problems, Skavnicki! Issues for the 38. I can't even find him here. There he is. Jeez. Caution's out. Timing and scoring was moving all over the place so fast I couldn't click on his name. Keeps the car in one piece. I think it was mostly just a slide, but let's see what happened to him here off of turn number 2. Gets a boot from Rochelle, maybe? Yeah. Might have started by getting loose, but there was contact after that, I do believe. From the rear bumper. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Great save. We need some kind of segment. We have Mega Miss, of course, from Murtis Esports. We need some kind of great save or something. I mean, that was incredible. The awareness to lock back left, right? Sideways, bring it back, lock back left, and lock the brakes down. That was so heads up. Really well done. And from Rochelle's perspective, here's the bump. Off of turn number 2, just tags him right there. John was already a little free, and then even he got jacked up. Rochelle did by Jones. Glad that wasn't larger, as Rochelle actually pulled over after that. He stays on the racetrack, but wonderful penalty maybe on the way for the 12 car, as the 24 continues to lead. From here, Zach, as we hit 60 laps to go this next time around, from here, for Pit Stop TV, this is what things look like. There you see New Hampshire tomorrow, the next 2 days, actually, between WRL and Full Send. We're actually going to cap August off with 4 broadcasts at New Hampshire. And that is up there for the most for any racetrack in any given month that we typically have. I will say I think this is going to be one of the largest broadcasting years in Pit Stop TV history. However, specifically New Hampshire is getting some representation. This will be, I believe, broadcasts 3 and 4 at New Hampshire this year alone, and then 5 when NORA comes back next week, but goes to New Hampshire next week. So a lot of the magic mile here on the channel in this month of August. You also see, after Full Send on Wednesday, we go road racing again. The North American Racing League making their return after a week away. They'll be taking pros out to Monza. Should be a lot of fun. We haven't seen, well, we actually have seen Porsche Cup cars there in the most recent season of Porsche Cup Racing. That was in Season 3 in 2023. It's been a little while, so it should be a lot of fun to take those cars out to Italy. Green flag on the way once again. Arthur in the restart zone. 59 to go at Richmond. I will say, Zach, if we get another long green flag run in, we might have to do some sounds of the sim. You were there yourself a couple of weeks ago. This place is really, really cool from a fan perspective. I've not yet been, but just from the sim, I really like what I see.
Oh, absolutely. I think one thing that we need to start doing, Andrew, for our Pit Stop TV broadcast is doing the broadcaster camera. You want to know what the broadcaster camera should be?
What's that?
Should be where we sat at these racetracks. Remember where we sat off of turn number 4 at Darlington? Got to see some really cool race finishes there. You could do one from where I sat just a few weeks ago here at Richmond. I've sat in a couple of different places at Charlotte Motor Speedway, so there'd be a number of cameras you could use there. I'm sure you've sat in a number of different places too. What are some other tracks? I've been to Martinsville. I've sat off of turn 2 and off of turn number 4. I've sat on the front straightaway at Pocono. Oh my goodness, just thinking about it gives so many possibilities. But one possibility that we can look at right now is the potential to see Vincent Arthur win this race. He has gotten damage. He's been up and down throughout the field, and now he's leading the race. Hunter Sr. in second, Durheim in third, and Conover not only passes a couple cars, then he loses a spot to Hunter Sr., so he still remains in the 4th spot, and they're trying to rip the top line. Timmons looking low on the 48, can't quite get it done. The top 5 evening itself out as Hunter Sr. goes for the move into turn number 1.
Senior back down to the inside on Vincent Arthur. If Vincent can win this race, I believe this would be the first time that we see anybody go back-to-back other than Dalton Tucker this season. No. Hunter Sr. did it, actually. To start the season off, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
I think. We'll break out the stat book as these guys keep going. I'm doubting myself now. But there was California in between.
He won California, too.
Jared Skinner won one of those. I'm checking.
Keep focusing on the race. I'm gonna look at Sim Racer Hub.
I'm already there. I beat you to it. Yeah, no, it's just been Dalton Tucker. It was, so the first 4 races were Senior Skinner, Senior Jones, then Cleva Arthur, and then Tucker at Texas and at Phoenix. Here we go. Chase Durheim to the inside. Can't look for too long. Senior up the racetrack. Durheim would like to make it 2 wins on the season. Arthur finally got his second last week in California. He would like to get a second in a row, though. That'd be number 3 here tonight if he can do it in 50 more laps of racing here at Richmond. Again, this race is wide open. Durheim gives Arthur a shot there. That opens the door to the inside. Durheim down low. Tucker is in it.
Yeah, look at Conover. He tried to make sure he could close that hole and keep it there. And Timmons gets in front of Tucker, now to the inside of Josh Conover as they're single file amongst the top 3, now amongst the top 6. They have gotten single file under this blanket. Cody Anderson is trying to roll himself back into the mix. Ronnie Norman is in 8th. Jake Christenberry is in 9th. These guys are all over the place, Andrew. They are trying their hardest as Conover now rips to the top side around the 33. The 16 of Durheim hanging on for dear life with so much going on really all around him. He's got the leader in front of him. He's got 2 cars fighting for 3rd behind him. He's kind of in the hornet's nest right now as they're doubled up 2 lanes deep.
Just the view from Arthur's back bumper looking back at the entire field. This, I'm confident, this is the most wide open non-plate race we've seen all season, in my opinion. Here comes Durheim back to the inside. Vincent Arthur controlling on the outside. We've seen passes high and low work out so far tonight. Predominantly high, I feel like, as Timmons slides back into his spot, holds that spot down over Dalton Tucker. Here's Tucker's point of view. I think he's shifting. Maybe not. I thought I heard a gear shift down to the turn 3, but maybe not, as Tucker stays in 4th. He rolls behind Timmons and Arthur. You see Durheim trying some different lines up ahead. Oh, and in the wall big is Hunter Sr. Here comes Durheim to the inside for the race lead. Crowds Arthur up the racetrack. That's going to open the door to Conover.
Ripping around the top side here on Timmons. Look at that run. That big run, and he hits the wall. Timmons right back to him.
This is Tucker and Timmons trying to watch as much of this top 10 as we can. Durheim way free off of 4. That might work out for him. He gets to the inside of Arthur down here to turn 1. Gets the nose ahead briefly. Up the racetrack again they go. Arthur's going to have the lead back away, but man, that nearly worked out. Now he's going to worry about Conover. Conover goes low. It's like rinse, repeat at the front. Big run for Chase Durheim.
These guys are all just duking it out, fighting it out, trying to see what they can get for all the marbles before the chase starts. They're giving us a preview of what to expect over the course of the next 10 races. And as they run, Andrew, I think it's clear to say at this point that Ronnie Norman is securely locking himself into the chase as Durheim gets a little loose off of turn number 4, but he's going to take advantage of it, get back down to the inside of Vincent Arthur. Gonna try to have the nose on corner exit, not quite there. Conover, he's so close to these guys as they're making contact for the race lead. He's gonna poke his nose under, 3 wide for the lead.
Oh, Durheim gets jacked up. He gets free off of 4. It's gonna back him up for a couple of laps. He is driving really hard. My concern for Chase is that he's using his tires up as he works on Vincent some more here off of turn 2. He is swatting flies in that 16 car. Tucker right behind Senior. Conover goes down low that time. Durheim way up the racetrack. He'll get the run off of turn 4. Watch that 16 here down into turn 1. Nose ahead.
Big run down the inside. He pushes him up the racetrack.
Not the first time he's done that tonight. There's the door bang back from Vincent Arthur. More contact into turn 3. These guys are using each other up. Conover to the inside.
He's trying his hardest to get in there, but his teammate's the one racing for the lead right now. He can't really get in there and start messing things up for that 24 car. He's got to try to find a way around. Tucker to the inside of the 48, trying to find his way forward. These guys are muscling for the race lead.
Durheim trying to maybe get back to the outside of the racetrack. That's where he's been the best. Off the corner, here comes Conover. Chase shuts the door. Conover's got to go low though in turn 1. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Simmons. They're back in it. Anderson just behind. Christenberry, Norman, and Jones. They're all watching all of this. Side by side they stay, 2 rows deep here in the middle of the top 5. This now allowing Vincent Arthur to drive away.
And they don't want to be doing this for too long. Either let Durheim get back in front of the 48 or let Conover get rolling. Realistically, you don't want to do that. I mean, these guys are going to fight for their track position. But we all know that fighting for too long is just going to let Arthur pull away even more. But nobody wants to give it up.
Yeah, they're all stuck in formation now. Arthur driving away with the lead. You see him in the foreground getting clear of these guys and taking off. Conover slots in behind Durheim. They see the writing on the wall. They're losing time to the 24, but they've also got to get going. Senior now battles to the inside of Conover. Durheim works way up, 3 wide off of turn 4. Senior trying to clear. Watch out, guys. They keep it straight as Tucker and Timmons figure things out behind them. Durheim has used his tires up. Chase needs a caution.
Cody Anderson has worked his way into the mix now. He is running with Tucker as a little bit of contact with the wall. I can't tell if that was Durheim or Conover. And now Hunter Sr. just trying to move forward on that bottom line and get around Durheim. This is holding them all up as Arthur has jumped out to an 0.8 of a second race lead. Senior back to the bottom. He's not to the inside of the 16 just yet. Gets there through the center of the corner, but the outside line prevails. The 16 of Durheim just hanging tough wherever he can. Senior tosses it in, washes up a little bit, but gets a really good run off of turn number 4.
You are down mostly to your best handful of drivers at this point. A lot of the guys were having issues earlier out of the race. The likelihood of a caution with just over 30 to go has gone way, way down. Senior throws it in deep on Durheim. Up the racetrack, Chase goes. And they continue to fight for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way back. Right back here, you've got Jones and Christenberry. This is the fight for 9th and 10th behind them. You can see Rochelle, Skavnicki, Housden, all those guys kind of back end of the field, pretty much. Kate Henry Oaks even loose off the corner. And they're having good battles back here where they're using each other up too.
I think everybody's using everybody up at this point. We're getting so locked into these battles, and we still have to be thinking about driver of the day soon.
We do. That's coming up quick. Honestly, I don't even know where to begin with any of it. I'm kind of hoping for a caution, just to make our lives a little bit easier.
I don't think our lives would be any easier if the caution came out right now or in 5 laps from now.
Well, you see the lap car ahead. That is Sidrus. He'll pull down. He is 6 laps down, make that 7 as he gets down out of the way of these guys. It does affect them slightly. I mean, anything in their view is going to affect what they do as Durheim drifts off of turn 4. He just needs to cool these tires down to try to hang on the last 30 laps. That car, you can tell he has burnt his tires up. Senior gets clear. Now goes to try and chase this 24 down. And Zach, remember when we talked to him, he basically said he feels like he's better than anybody else in the long run. This is his time now to show. I know he's gotten stuck behind Durheim. He has been forced to start this run by 0.8 in the hole. But this is your time, basically, to show what you're made of. As Tucker gets into Conover. Anderson at the racetrack. Lady. Norman gets the wall. Here comes Jones.
This is really spinning on its head.
Jones had to park the bus in the center of 3 and 4. You can tell he lost all turn there. Conover regroups. Tucker allowed him to. If he weren't green, I'd go back and see how they made contact in the first place. I know that's going to fire them both up.
Well, it's letting Durheim cool down a little bit and maybe reset the tire wear a little bit, we'll say.
That's exactly what
Obviously,
he needs.
You can't reset the tire wear, but you can cool those tires down and at least have a bit more of a charge in these later stages of the race. Anderson looking to the bottom on Tucker. Tucker now to the bottom on Conover. Everyone sliding up the racetrack. And the thing I like most about this right now is that all these guys are really equal. They are very much equal in the standpoint of when they try to go for a move, they stall out pretty quickly. They have to be just one step ahead of the guy they're trying to race, or they're not going to be able to get it done. And Hunter Sr. is trying to chase down Vincent Arthur and get one step ahead of him. And I'll tell you, he is working down the ticker right now. He is just ever so quicker. And I mean ever so quicker. Last lap and best lap overall. And I'm not going to lie to you, Andrew, this is a little bit surprising out of Senior because we haven't really seen him being super competitive on the short tracks. We've seen him have some decent runs, but we've never seen him this competitive on the short tracks.
This is easily the strongest he's been on a short track all season long. Something has changed for the 33 car. Since Senior got in this car, he has gotten a whole lot better. He is on Vincent Arthur's bumper, more or less, only about a quarter second between them, and now closing. As we are nearly down to 20 to go, you see the lap times a tenth and a half better almost for Senior that lap as he continues to pursue the 24. There are battles behind, but this could be for all the marbles this evening, and this would be huge for Chase seeding. You heard it as well when we talked to Senior. He was talking about trying to get that number 1 seed. Here he goes. Looking to the inside of Vincent Arthur.
Side by side for the race lead, up off of 2. Oh, gets a little loose.
See the battles behind as well. Blade Timmons bringing the fight to Chase Durheim. As these guys get into lockstep formation, so too do these two. Timmons on the inside of Durheim, he's got that spot. Also, Conover and Tucker nose to tail. Some really great, really important battles dotting the racetrack, but this one could be for the win. Hunter about got him there. I mean, he about had the nose ahead in the middle of the corner. Shoots back to the inside. Lap 222 now of 240. Next time by is 18 laps to go. And that time, Senior had a good entry to the corner, not so great exit. There are battles further back. Christenberry falls back into a fight now with the 15 of Housden. There is still potential for a caution all throughout this field. These guys could absolutely still have problems. As Jones is back here with Rochelle, with Housden, with Christenberry. And you've still got these two who made contact a couple of laps ago. Tucker to the inside of Conover. This is for 5th position. And our leaders, off of turn 2, Senior still working on the 24 car. Well, Zach, 15 to go. Not this time by, the next time. You want to go ahead and hit driver of the day?
Yeah, I say we go for it.
Well, this might be the move. Never mind. He had to park the bus a little bit there in the center of the corner. He gets the nose ahead for a brief moment, but Hunter Sr. no dice that time. He'll have to continue to work this 24 over. Trying to make it happen. We just got to go for it. Who you got, driver of the day?
Hunter Sr., that's my first pick. He has been solid all race long. He's done a phenomenal job, and he is up a number of spots right now, up 16 spots from the start of the race, trying to make it 17. He is doing a great job to keep himself in this race, and honestly, I got to give an honorable mention to Durheim. If you don't take him, I'm going to keep that honorable mention. He has been doing a phenomenal job with the older tires, holding himself in this race. A great, great job out of the 16. And then I think my next pick is probably going to have to go, honestly, to Rochelle. Sitting in the 11th spot. He was up in the top 10 momentarily. Ryan Housden actually just passed him up, but Rochelle has been wrecked, slid, lying around, and spun out all throughout the race, and he's kept himself in a decent finishing position so far.
I've got my two picked out. I'm going to go with this guy, Vincent Arthur, who has led now 60 laps. He just might, if he leads every lap to the end, he can still lead the most over Chase Durheim, who otherwise has the most led today. And that's exactly where I think I'm going to go. I will say, I wish he would take a Durheim, because I really want to give Wade Timmons a shot here. But because of the points and everything, I'm going to go Chase Durheim, although he just got muscled up the racetrack, I think, by Conover. I think. We didn't get the full look, but there's now a dent, I believe, in that left front of the 16. And he was in the wall there. So I'll reset. We've got my picks in. I'll type those in and get that poll going over on YouTube. 10 to go this time. Bye, Zach.
Not too long left. Everything just taking shape at this point. A late race caution would throw a horseshoe into this race. But you never know what can happen.
Everything else is, look who's stalking these guys. Look at this. Blade Timmons within a half second of these two at the front. 9 laps to go. He got free off of 4 that time. But target acquired. If you are Blade Timmons, he could play spoiler to these two up ahead. This is going to be a real fun countdown to checkered flag. Oh! Contact there, maybe.
Still side by side for the race lead. 8 laps to go. The only thing standing between these two and victory is each other. And Hunter Sr. is trying his hardest to go up there and catch that 24 car. You see Timmons in the background. You see Conover behind him. Ronnie Norman has moved himself up into the top 5. An impressive run from the 7 car. He started close to the front of the field. He's trying to work himself back forward. This is the fight for the 6th spot. Durheim continues to go backwards. And Tucker is just hanging tough.
As quickly as Timmons got to the top 2, by the way, he has fallen back as Tucker works to clear Chase Durheim. And here we go. 6 laps to go. That time by your top 2, still under a blanket. Hunter Sr. back down to the inside, continues to go to work here on the 24 car.
Five to go at the flag stand. These guys still side by side trying to duke this out for the race lead.
Do we see a bumper if it comes to it?
I don't know. It's so hard to give them a bumper in these cars. They are so twitchy.
By the way, Chase Durheim in the wall.
Twitchy.
This might be problems for the 16. He dives back on the outside of Cody Anderson, not letting the 3 car get away yet. He falls back into the 8th spot, though. The car all over the place. Just a few more laps to go.
Around.
As Arthur has finally got himself a bit of a gap. He can relax slightly.
Houston is by. Durheim on the ticker. You can see it there. 3 laps to go here at the flag stand. There is not a lot of time left. Hunter Sr., he has to make these laps count. Qualifying laps out of the 33 car. But to be perfectly honest, Andrew, with just how much that 33 is starting to fall off, I think he's burned up his tires. It's not looking really like it's going to be in his favor at this point. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 to go.
A mile and a half left at Richmond Raceway. Vincent Arthur looking to become just the 2nd driver this season to go back-to-back for victories. Dalton Tucker has done it on 3 separate occasions. And if you want to be taken seriously in the battle for the championship, I think you've got to do it too. Vincent Arthur, 1 lap to go, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. The number 24. Yeah, he got a win decently earlier in the season. That was back at Martinsville. Otherwise, the first 6 months of the year were a wash. Suddenly, the back end of the regular season belonged to Vincent Arthur. 2 straight wins for the 24. He gets it done at Richmond. How about that for Vinny? Big statement. As did he just... Oh, there, he's back. He's back. Thought maybe he had a connection difficulty right as the checkered flag flew. But he's back in it. Brian Jones is stuck back here. I think he's just having some fun doing burnouts. Glad to be done with it. As Arthur brings it around to the front stretch, Zach, to celebrate.
What a job by the 24 car.
He
He's making a statement.
definitely earned this celebration, that's for sure. And with those laps led to the end as well, Zach, he actually gets the most laps led in this race by 1 over Chase Durheim, 73 to 72. And we will wait to see exactly what the call is on standings to see who the top seed is in the chase. Josh Conover already kind of recognizing that he doesn't know exactly how it's going to work out. He gave us scenarios to start the day.
He said he needed top 4, 37 car of Tucker to be the top seed into the chase. But he ended up finishing 6th on the night.
Yeah, so I don't know who is going to end up taking the top seed going into the final 10 races of the season. All I know is Vincent Arthur is going to be looking real good in the power rankings next week, that's for sure. 2 straight wins, California and Richmond. Hello, number 24. We'll take a look back at the unofficial race results in just a moment. That's the cool thing about this, right? It was a pretty bad year. Honestly, to this point in his career, in 2005, it was a pretty terrible year. Like, one of his worst at this point in Jeff Gordon's career in 2005. And Vincent has this opportunity to kind of rewrite history for the 24 car. He's got 3 wins now as we enter the chase and is in the chase and can still win the championship. That's the cool thing about this kind of series. For a long time, I was turned off these kinds of series, but these guys have got it right. Wait for Vincent to find his way into an invisible barrier. I think he's trying to find victory lane. Vincent, if you... He might know. I don't know. Vincent... The victory lane is in turn 1. Here we go. We're getting closer. I think he's trying to get to it. I don't know that you can. I think iRacing has accounted for that. So he's reversing all the way back out. In case he does some celebration, we want to stick with him. I'm actually going to take this opportunity to refresh SimRacer Hub and see if we have new standings. We do. Dalton Tucker has the top seed, it looks like, by 16 points over Hunter Sr.
How about that?
That's pretty big for the 37 car. He is the top seed. Hunter Sr., the number 2 seed. Josh Conover, the number 3 seed. And Vincent will park it down alongside the inside wall. Well, let's take a look back at those unofficial race results and see how this all broke down at the end of 240 here at Richmond Raceway. A great race, I gotta say. It was a slow start, admittedly. They made us wait for it, and it was worth it. Fantastic race this evening. Vincent Arthur, 73 laps led. That is the most by 1. Hunter Sr. takes 2nd, Blade Timmons 3rd. A great night for RCR, 2nd and 3rd. That's a good showing for them for sure. Kevin can be happy with that. 4th place, Josh Conover. 5th place, Ronnie Norman, earning his place in the chase. He was locked in just by taking the green flag, but that kind of finish certainly earns it for him. Cody Anderson, 7th, Ryan Housden, Chase Durheim, Brian Jones hang on for top 10s.
Rolling outside the top 10, Kyle Rochelle ends up 11th with Christenberry in the 12th spot. Jacob Gladulec still hangs on for a 13th place finishing position. Skavnicki 14th, Nick Hom in the 15th position with Nathan Anderson 16th in that number 41 car. And then you get to the lap down cars. 5 laps down for Caden Henry Oaks, 10 laps down for Dakota Sidrus, and then Nick Geilis and Alex Edelman in the 20th place position.
And back in 21st this evening, the final 5 cars begin with Wayne Sparks and follow up with Matthew George, Corey Powell, Zachary King, and Kevin Baumler. Unfortunately, a very not notable page here. All these guys just having bad nights. That's the most notable part, I think, for each of them. Vincent Arthur, though, not a bad night at all here at Richmond. Led the most laps by 1 over Chase Durheim. And Vincent, you are now just the second driver to win back-to-back races this season. Dalton's done it 3 times. Can you?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I don't know, it was a really good race, honestly. I love when we come to tracks the week after or 2 weeks after, we come here in real life, just because the amount of prep that goes into that kind of stuff, you kind of figure out what works at Richmond, and it just correlates perfect. And yeah, this was it was a really fun race. I didn't think I had a really good short run car, but I knew I had a really good long run car. So yeah, I think one of the 70, 80 lap runs we had, I was able to drive up, and drive off into the distance. Obviously from 12th is where I started after that lap 17 pit stop. So driving off in the distance compared to driving off away from the guys who were on my strategy. Sorry, is what I meant to say. And then getting, trapped a lap down and having to, take a wave to get back on the lead lap and all that. So just went through a lot, and I just needed long runs to try to just let my car be kind of live in that zone where I was faster than the guys around me. So yeah, track positions a lot here. It means a lot. So I don't remember if it was the spring or if it was last fall. I know that 2 tires worked pretty well. I just did it 1 stop too early then, so I kind of had that in my back pocket and got the track position, and they held on a lot longer than I thought they were going to, but I was really struggling there at the end. So just hats off to Hunter for racing me clean, racing me fair. Yeah, I mean, momentum is such a real thing in the sport, and you rattle off one last week. I don't know. Maybe I should just not practice and then hop in these races, because 2 weeks in a row I've done it, and 2 weeks in a row I've come out with a win. So it's a ballsy strategy going into the chase, but we're finding some success when it matters the most. So let's head down, hit the next 10 weeks running, and try to chase championship.
And I'd argue you're in the best spot to now do so. Sure, others have been good too, and they will probably stay ahead of you still in power rankings, but you're going to pick up a whole bunch of spots there again. 2 wins, back-to-back weeks, right before the chase. I don't know that you could start it any better. So how do you carry this into New Hampshire? I mean, there's somewhat similar racetracks, but not really.
Well, similar in the fact that we just raced there last week, so all my notes and prep and stuff like that, it should carry over quite nicely. Haven't turned a lap yet. We'll see how qualifying goes, but New Hampshire is statistically one of my best tracks, so we'll see how it goes. Normally these things race pretty fun there. Yeah, I think there it's just surviving, really. Just don't take yourself out of it, and give yourself a shot at the end. I mean, really, that's the key to the next 10 races. It's just, don't do anything. Don't inflict self-harm, just keep yourself in the fight, and let the guys around you kind of make their own mistakes. So we'll go to New Hampshire, just trying to carry this momentum. It's a racetrack I really like. Racetrack I got a lot of prep at, so should be pretty good. And it's also good momentum because I'm racing at Tri-County on Saturday. So it's just, it's always good to get a couple wins in these, league races going into the real life stuff, because it just, lead in a real life race and then lead in these things. It's very similar in just the mindset you got to have. So hopefully we can rattle off a win on Saturday and then come back on Monday and try to do it again.
Fair enough. I keep saying this, but I might have to trek out to Tri-County finally this time. But I'm also curious. You got a bit of the short track, I guess, temper taste there with Chase Durheim. Anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that he was racing Blade pretty hard, and Blade's not really a guy you want to mess with too much, so I kind of knew what to expect. And then when we were racing, it was fine, and then a couple times he washed up a little higher than, I would have liked him to, so I gave him a little door on the straightaway just to let him know, hey man, that's, don't do any more than what you just did. And then, he burnt up his tires trying to pass me and faded. So Really, there at the end, I didn't want to run the top because you just burn your tires too much, and here distance and center speed is just everything. So trying to just run the bottom, rep the line as long as I could, and it really paid off in the long run. But you got those guys that are super aggressive who are going to go, rip the top and really dive it in on you. So you just kind of got to adjust when those guys are there, knowing I'm on 2 tires. I'm already at a tire deficit, so I got to kind of try to hang on to the track position for all it's worth. But you kind of just got to deal with those guys as they come, and then when they burn their stuff up and fall back, you can kind of go back to the bottom and get to your groove until 33 catch you, and then you got to be defensive towards the end there.
Well, your ground or your what was it? Your already forgot the word. Your grind, your headset. I can't do it, man. It's one of those nights. We called like 20 cautions tonight, I feel like, but you come out on top of it. I had a way I was going to phrase all that. Vincent, anyways, congratulations. I'll figure it out later. I'll probably think of it at 2 a.m. tonight.
Hopefully it's the championship mindset that you had in mind.
Mindset. You found your mindset. You found your groove on the inside. That's what I wanted to say. You got back to it, got away. One of those nights for everybody, I guess. Good to talk to you. Congrats.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Vincent Arthur, I can't talk tonight, but hopefully you can, Zach. Here's second place.
Second place is Hunter Sr. and a very hard-fought second place for Mr. Sr. Hunter, you tried all you could. You went after Vincent with everything you had. You raced him clean, and you're walking away with a second spot. What's the mentality walking out of that one, knowing you had a shot there to win the race and you just came up 1 spot short?
Second sucks. I try. I mean, like you said, I gave it everything I could. I didn't think he would have the long run pace, but I mean that's the hardest I've ever driven on here and most effort I ever put in. And if I could have had just 10 more laps, I wish I could have sat back and cooled my stuff off and gave it another try. But I saw the 29 coming and just knew it was pretty much now or never pretty much to get around him. So it was a great race. I came here 2 seasons ago, or when I ran the part-time season, finished second to Brian Jones here, and I love this track, and it's one of those tracks that I look forward to every time I see it on a schedule, and I think I'm pretty decent here, and it just sucks finishing second.
Well, even with finishing second, you're walking into the chase 16 points behind top seed Dalton Tucker. You have been one of the drivers that we have been focused on throughout the season, and now that we've officially wrapped up the regular season, what's the game plan going into the chase?
Just try to hit it the same we've been hitting it all season, just consistency and putting ourselves in good scenarios and just staying out of trouble pretty much. I mean, it's 10 races that if you go into the first race, you're gonna, and you don't show up, you're pretty much wrapping yourself out for the season. So, I mean, it's the guy from 10th can win the championship for all we know. It's one of those things that I'm not a fan of the chase, but I mean, it creates good moments, and it creates scenarios like like I said, somebody from 10th, 8th, whatever, 9th, who knows, you can go up there and win the championship. So it's just the mentality of just going in, like I said, hitting it like we did all season, and just hopefully stay consistent.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the second place finish. Hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week in New Hampshire.
Yes, sir. If you don't mind, I'd like to give a big shout out to Above Mars Designs, Juicy Spider. Big thanks to you guys, and thanks to everybody in this league for having me here, and thanks for talking to me.
Absolutely. Hunter Sr., your second place finisher on the night, Andrew, and then your third place finisher, Mr. Blade Timmons, is popping on over, ready to talk to us tonight.
And he earned third place, just like Hunter did second, and Vincent did first. Blade, we talked to you mid-race at one point. Sounded kind of wishy-washy, whether or not you were confident on it, but your driving made up for all the rest. Really, really good night. 40 lap sled, just not enough what happened there at the end.
Same problem I was battling on. I could not get the car to come off the corner underneath anybody. So I don't know if it was just fear to wreck somebody and try to stay clean and just not be aggressive. But yeah, it wanted to break free when I tried to put the power down. I don't know if I had too much wheel in it, but it wasn't working for me tonight.
We saw how hard some drivers were defending. I think, namely Chase Durheim and Vincent. Kind of name dropped you as you guys were racing really hard together. Was there a little bit of that short track temper coming out, or was it just kind of Rubbins race and keep on going?
I get the Rubbins racing. Every now and then, like you make a mistake, you roll whatever. But it was a little aggressive for my liking. I don't race nobody like that. I don't expect to be raced like that. I mean, I race hard. Don't misunderstand me. I might get into people every now and then, but it's not intentional. But it was just, to me, it was overly aggressive. And I'm gonna be honest with you, he's lucky I didn't right rear him into the freaking wall.
Understood. Blade Timmons, strong words there. Third place, though. Can't argue with that, Blade. I do believe you'll be on our power rankings next week at New Hampshire. We'll see you there.
All right, Blade. Appreciate it.
Going to talk to Blade Timmons, and you can tell he is a little bit frustrated even now. It's like he was done thinking about it, and then I poked the mirror a little bit and reminded him of it all. And, well, yeah, you can tell he's not a fan of the way he got raced there at the end. But, I mean, Zach, that's short track racing, right?
It is. That's just how it goes. What is it that Darrell Waltrip said? If your right side's beat up, or if your left side's been beat up, hold on. If your left side's been beat up, you've been in the way. If your right side's been beat up, you've been in the wall. Something like that.
I know it as, I think Earnhardt is credited with it. I don't know if this is correct or not, but if your rear bumper is beat up, you were in the way. If your front bumper is beat up, you were doing the moving. Something like that. Regardless, I mean...
Something like that.
Chase nearly led the most laps. I think it's hard to argue that he was good tonight. He just burned his stuff up trying to beat Vincent Arthur. That's just how it goes. And next week we'll see some of that again. New Hampshire is very much going to be like that, I think, with these cars. It is going to be a long run kind of race, I would think, but it can easily be a caution kind of race, depending on how these guys manage themselves and their tires over the course of 180 laps there at the Magic Mile. And of course, next up for us, before we get to New Hampshire, this is what our broadcast schedule looks like a little bit. New Hampshire tomorrow and the next day, but with Legends and then current NASCAR Cup cars for full send. And then Thursday, it's the North American Racing League Porsche Cup Pros out at Monza. We are not on the big combined course, I will say that. We are on the normal Grand Prix course. So, I mean, that I guess is a little more calm. Regardless, there you see the next few...
It's one word to use on the racetrack. I just sit there... I didn't mean to, just cue silence, but I just sit there and think. Calm is one word that I don't like always using, or really using when it comes to racing, because it's never exactly very calm on the racetrack.
Yeah, no, Monza is a pretty crazy place to race, especially with those cars and a spec series like that. Should be a lot of fun. Of course, from then, we also have this weekend... Nothing Friday or Saturday. We actually have two broadcasts on Sunday. That will be ARN at... Gosh, let me think about it. They're at Daytona this weekend. And then from Daytona, we will go to Mount Washington in New Hampshire. So another broadcast from New Hampshire. Just not New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Mount Washington on Sunday evening. Actually, it's Legends. We're pairing up. The Raw Legends Tour with the iRacing Hill Climb community for Sunday's event at the mountain, and a little birdie tells me you might attempt it.
It's a possibility.
May as well. I'm telling these guys, points are available. You may as well take a crack at it. Worst case, you have a cool highlight reel of tumbling down part of the mountain.
Yikes.
Well, you can
check out... I sit there and think.
Check out everything that we were talking about on Pit Stop TV on the graphic down below, the social media. That takes you to all the different places that Pit Stop TV exists across the internet, particularly that top right, the Discord link. I should highlight that one. That's the most important. That's where you can get in contact with everything Pit Stop TV, get in contact with us directly, and join the Whiplash Racing League Legends Tour or the National Series coming up here on Pit Stop TV. We do have that driver of the day vote, Zach. It is tied right now. Frankly, I hate to give you guys a tie. It's a late night. It took a little while this evening. If you look back at the race info, here you go, 13 cautions for 53 laps. Not that crazy, I suppose, in terms of Richmond races, but it definitely was not the quickest that we've seen all year long. So we're going to award this jointly. First, to Vincent Arthur. Oh, you know what? You're right.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it on my phone. It's not tied.
It's the same number of votes, but YouTube did break the tie for us. I'm sorry, Vincent Arthur. It's going to go the way of Hunter Sr. YouTube decided to break that vote for us. I'll take it. Hunter Sr. gets the
You
point.
gave that man false hope.
I sure did. I mean, he got the win. It's only fair that Hunter gets the driver of the day, right?
I think so. He didn't win the race, but he won the hearts of the people.
Next up for NORA is New Hampshire next week. Any final thoughts here from Richmond, though?
Give me more racing like that in New Hampshire. That was some really great racing up at the front of the field.
I agree. A big thank you to all our partners who make it possible. Harpoon Design, Sparks Builders, Darkstar Garage, and NORA itself. Without these groups on the left side of your screen, these broadcasts would not happen. They would not be possible. We'd be missing this action on Monday nights. So a big thank you to all of these groups, making sure that we can tune in for it, catch racing like we had tonight. Golly, what a time it was. A big thank you to our partners as well. Whiplash Simcams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murder Esports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and MX Designs. The chase begins for NORA and for the Whiplash Fantasy Group. Of course, that's far secondary. A quest for the championship now begins at New Hampshire next week. Do not miss it. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We're only just getting started. 10 weeks of racing coming up, and there just might be a cool little graphics package update coming specifically for those 10 races. I'm just saying, keep an eye out. We'll see you next time, New Hampshire next week. Don't miss it. Legends to open the night for a quick 10 and 12 lap race, and then the first race of the chase. We'll see you there.